O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show. This
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See? And then, of course, we got, the bunkers. Got to have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there. Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh, baby. Oh, baby. Yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-NE.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Welcome aboard, baby. Ready to rock and roll on a beautiful Wednesday. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you all are feeling a little better. Oh, man. I am, what can I tell you? I am hanging in there. I am mixed when it comes into the world of sports. Frustrated the Marlins couldn't score yesterday, couldn't get it done. Although, you know, by them just making it is a miracle in itself. You know what I mean? So as long as they made it, that's pretty much, you know, success. I don't think you can really ask for more than that from the Miami Marlins. But watching it yesterday, I was hoping that they were able to, you know, actually win or surprise. Maybe they'll do it today. Maybe they'll shock This doesn't give me the same feeling of 2003. I don't think this team is nearly as good as that one in 2003. They were the best team in the majors from May 1st on. So that's why you kind of had a different feeling, because they had the best record in the entire league. And so it was a different feeling. That's what I was thinking about when I'm watching them last night. Obviously, still very disappointed in what happened with the Miami Dolphins over the weekend. Unacceptable, that performance. You know, it's interesting because we have a lot of butthurt fans. And some of you out there, I get it, dude. You're fanatical, right? So you can't handle any kind of negativity about the team, but there's nothing to be positive about with that performance. That wasn't just a loss. That was an absolute thorough ass kicking is what that was. And that was the kind of ass kicking that cannot happen. Pretty simple. It cannot happen. That's the kind of ass kicking you're supposed to get past. You're not supposed to be that team anymore. And so we will find out in the next couple of weeks. Not that the Giants in Carolina will test you. Those are pretty much no-win situations for the Dolphins. They have to win those games. They cannot lose those games, because then you've really got, some serious problems, at that point. So hopefully they'll take care of business. Philadelphia will be their next test, and we'll see. We will measure them against Kansas City, against Philadelphia, against the Bills twice. You gotta win your share of those kind of games in order to be taken seriously. You know what I mean? Winning the lesser games just puts you kind of in the same thing that you've been, stuck in the middle. And I think, I've gone over the last 24 hours with fans back and forth, and some of you I get it, you're emotional cripples and you can't handle it. You know what I mean? I don't do that here on this show. I don't play the fan game that, you just kind of wipe it away. Oh, it's nothing. And we're going to the Super Bowl next week. And, every year it's Super Bowl, and every year you kid yourself of all that kind of stuff. I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't do that every year. That's why I'm kind of frustrated with what happened on Sunday, because I rarely give them the benefit of the doubt. And I was stupid to give the Dolphins the benefit of the doubt. They didn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. Mike McDaniel has not earned the benefit of the doubt. As much as I like Mike McDaniel, he hasn't earned it. And Vic Fangio hasn't earned it yet either with me. So why should I give them the benefit of the doubt? And what they did on Sunday, what Fangio did was a crime in football. What he did to Kader Kohu was disgusting. Okay? And Mike McDaniel, the pre-snap penalties in key moments, once again, you can't win a challenge. You abandon the run, and then you got throttled. Absolutely embarrassed. I'm not making any excuses for these guys. I'm not giving them any breaks. None. There's tons of time in this season to fix all of this. Mike McDaniel and Vic Fangio can fix all of this. I'm not going to the other extreme that other people are doing. Well, they just don't have the talent, this, that. No, screw that, dude. They have enough talent to win. Adjust. Show me coaching. Like I tweeted out yesterday, I grew up with Shula, and I'm currently watching Eric Spoelstra. Don't tell me you can't adjust. I've watched Spo almost get to the playoffs with a bunch of scrubs. I've watched them coach stars. I've watched them coach young guys. I've watched them coach teams that don't have great point guards. I've watched them do everything and coach everybody and make everybody better. Doesn't matter who they are. That's Eric Spoelstra. Just like, for me, Spo and Shula are kind of like the same kind of coaches, dude. You give them any group of players, and they figure out a way to play and play well. I don't know how they do it, but, you give them the guys from the 70s, and there's Shula. You give them Woodstock, and there's Shula. You give them Marino, and there's Shula. And it's all three completely different teams. And I could do the same thing with Spo. Hell, just in the blood clot years with Bosch, he had like 3 different offenses. So I've watched a modern-day Shula in basketball. I've watched Shula in football. I've watched coaches that know how to adjust to what's going on, and then they get the max out of what they have. And I have to say that Vic Fangio is an absolute failure so far in his first month. So everybody can tell me, well, it'll take time, and I get it. And probably next year he'll have more of the people he needs on his defense. But I don't want to hear that shit now. I want you to find answers and play better, because Josh Boyer has 1/100th of the experience of Vic Fangio and has kicked Vic Fangio's ass in the last month. Okay? In the last month, Josh Boyer has done a much better job last year with way less talent than Vic Fangio. Can Vic Fangio fix it? Yeah, he should be able to fix it. Can Mike McDaniel stop his team from pre-snap penalties? Yeah. Can he actually commit to the run? Yeah. Can he actually start winning challenges? Yeah. Can his team actually step up in big moments like this? Yeah. But get it done. But now I'm not going out here and saying, oh, yeah, they feel great. They're awesome. No. Earn it now. Screw that, dude. What you did on Sunday, you lost everything. You lost all confidence whatsoever. I got no confidence in you now. Now you got to prove to me that you can show up, because I saw you bumble 4th down last year in a playoff game. And then you're up against the same team you faced 3 times last year, and you got smoked. So I like McDaniel, but you can't do that. You see what happened after the game? Here, here you go. After the game, here's Mike McDaniel. And here's Mike McDaniel whispering or yelling into McDermott's ear, I effing respect you.
You just don't know in this league. That's me. We all can relate to that. You just don't know in this league. That's me. We all can relate to that. You just don't know in this league.
You know why? Because he kicked his freaking ass round side. That's why. Because he thoroughly embarrassed him. Okay? Let's see. Let it play full here. I guess because I enlarged it, now it wants to spin here a little bit. But there you go. And do you know why he respects the F out of him? Because McDermott schemed his ass into elementary.
Don't know in this league.
And his players stepped up in a big-time way. I mean, there was a night and day difference between the Bills and the Dolphins.
Just don't know in this league.
Okay? And so for you emotional cripples out there, I'm not giving up on the team. I'm not canceling my house in Vegas for the Super Bowl. I'm not doing any of that. All I'm saying is you don't get the benefit of the doubt from me anymore. You know, I thought you had the juice. I thought you were ready for these kind of moments. And you look like dog shit on Sunday. So now you're going to have to win a few of these games. Like winning against Philadelphia is a nice start. That's how I'm going to treat it. A nice start. Let me see what you do against Kansas City and Buffalo. You got to win 2 of the next 3. If you think the Dolphins, if you think they can make noise in the playoffs, they need to win 2 out of the next 3 games against Philadelphia, Kansas City, and Buffalo. They need to at least split those games. Then I know you're a good team. If you can only win one out of those four, you ain't shit. And if you lose all four, you're definitely not shit. You're not going anywhere in the playoffs. You got to give me some hope right now. I need hope to know that you can actually get it done in these kind of moments against these kind of teams. That you're not going to get pushed around, and punched in the mouth, and schooled. Okay? Because McDermott schooled his ass. Plenty of time. We got 13 games. We got a postseason. There's a lot of time, but I'm not going to get excited anymore about beating the Broncos or a middling team like the Chargers, who you struggled to beat, by the way. And then you know, with the Giants coming up and Carolina, that means nothing to me at all. Okay? And that's why he said, I respect the F out of you. Why? Because he got schooled badly in that game. You watch the film. It is as ugly as it gets. That video on Sunday. So I'm a big McDaniel fan, but he's got a lot to grow up in these kind of moments. Very smart guy, knows his offense. Vic Fangio. See, at least with McDaniel,
still got the things playing in the background.
Shit was self-inflicted.
What? I was hearing the Jim Nantz and Tony Romo in the background, so it's gone now, though.
Oh, okay. Is it gone now? Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Anyway, so it's just, you know, something that you got to survive this shit, man. And you got to prove to me that you can win in these kind of moments and have your team prepared, that you're not going to keep screwing up and you can't get a damn challenge right, and that the penalties come up in the wrong time, and pre-snap penalties. And then you sold me freaking Liam Eichenberg. You kept selling me Liam Eichenberg. This, that. And listen, they were right on Austin. They were wrong on Liam. They've saved Austin. They haven't saved Liam. They found Wynn. They found Lamb. You know, they've done a lot of good shit. But you sold me Eichenberg, and you can't sell me Eichenberg anymore. And look at what Eichenberg did to you in a key moment. That's because you believed in him when he wasn't really worthy of it. That's your fault. That's your fault, McDaniel. That's your fault, Frank Smith. That's your fault, Butch Berry. Not anybody else's. So a lot of the things that happen on Sunday cannot happen anymore. You cannot get thoroughly embarrassed. You cannot get run over physically like that. You cannot get absolutely schooled mentally, because coaching-wise, oh my God, they got you and just abused you. That's why you have to tell them in the middle of the field, I effing respect you, because, brother, he kicked your ass. He, embarrassed you badly on the IQ level. And we can't have this anymore. It's your second year. The same stuff, and you abandon the run again. You abandon the run in week one. You put your team in a problem. You abandon the run again this week. And it's not like your defensive coordinator has got his shit together. So you really needed the run so you could limit their possessions, because your defensive coordinator still doesn't know what the hell he's doing. This is the kind of stuff that has to end. So if, you got to call them out for this. They need to. And I get some of you out there. Look, dude, I've been doing this for 30 years. For many years, I've slammed the Dolphins. So I've dealt with you emotional cripples already. Sorry. I don't play the fluff game here and everything's going to be fine. All that, bro, that's the stuff that the blind-ass fan does all the time. That's not what I do. But my mistake was I got on this trip that they were ready for this, and that was stupid on my part. And they weren't ready for this. So now we will find out as the year goes on. Next test will be Philadelphia. If you can win that, that will be a nice first step. That's how we're going to take it. You haven't arrived shit, but it's a nice first step. If you lose to Philadelphia, then the trend continues. The same trend that's been going on for decades. And McDaniel has not erased that trend. That's all. You know, if you're going to find ways to lose games or you're going to get spanked, that's what the Dolphins have been for decades. I'm kind of tired of watching that Dolphins team, and I'm hoping Mike McDaniel can fix that. You got 13 games, cuz. Let's go. Fix it. 13 games. He's smart enough to do it, and I know if Fangio's smart enough to do it, he better adjust. So, what's it called? What else do we have here? Jamie Zorria, little roll call. He's in. Says, remember to smash the like button. Yes, please. Smash the hell out of the like button. Jay Gelfin is in. Giovanni's in. Steven is in. Kyle Cockrell. Boss B. Brian Walters. Giovanni says, Marlins hung in there but could not score. See how it goes tonight. Inter needs a big win in Chi-Town. Yep. There'll be no Messi, that's for sure. Gordon Shumway, Stanley Smith, Drago, One-Eyed Jack, Ray Sosa, Chris Ortiz, Mr. Torres, Chimp Shock, Fins Up Winsey, Alex Palenzuela, Green Lion. Skip made a mistake starting Lusardo. Who are you going to start, bro? They probably went on rest and all that kind of stuff. Lusardo and then Braxton Garrett. I mean, you know, what are you going to do, bro? It is what it is. So Sandy's not ready. So, you know, Steve Chapman in, Crypto Fins, happy hump day. Hope the Dolphins get back on track. Well, dude, they got the Giants and the Panthers. That's not back on track. Let's please don't start with that next week. Well, they're back on track. No, they're not. They're supposed to beat the Giants. They're supposed to beat the Panthers. We're not supposed to be impressed, by the way. You're supposed to win those games. Let's see Philadelphia, okay? The next 2 weeks, you're supposed to win. You better not lose. Because if you lose any of those two, who gives a shit about Philadelphia or the Bills or KC? You're definitely not the team, okay? So that's the thing. The Dolphins cannot win the next 2 weeks. They cannot win the next 2 weeks. Okay? You're supposed to win the next 2 games. The next 2 games are dog shit. They don't mean anything. They're just wins in the win column that you need to build up your record. But it doesn't mean anything for the playoffs. It doesn't mean you're worthy of the playoffs. It doesn't mean you'll win in the playoffs. What means you'll win in the playoffs if you can beat the Bills, if you can beat Kansas City, if you can beat Philadelphia, if you can beat the really good teams in your schedule. Beating the Giants is not getting back on track. Don't embarrass yourself as a Dolphins fan. Don't sound like an absolutely clueless football fan by telling your friends, oh, the Dolphins are back on track. They beat the Giants. That'll make you sound incredibly stupid. Just want to warn you ahead of time. Let's see. Stephen Harris is in. Isaiah. Pat in Asheville, Duke Tomlinson, Juan Mendoza. Right now, Juan, I don't have confidence that they can win any big games. No, I don't. Why would I? No. When they start beating them, then I'll have confidence that they can do it. I'm not doing that anymore. They're the same middling team that they've been for 30 years. They can beat shitty teams, and they rarely ever beat good teams. That's why they're rarely ever in the playoffs, And that's why they rarely ever make any noise in the playoffs whenever they get there. Why? Because they never really can hang with the elite. And if you can't beat the elite on your share, I'm not saying you have to have a 5-1 record against the elite teams, but you got to be at least 500. So this year, the two Bills, the Kansas City and the Philly game, you go 0-4, 1-3, you're nothing. You're the same Dolphins team you've been for 30 years. You ain't doing shit in the playoffs if you make it, which you will because you got a lot of shitty games and you can build up, wins. So I'll wait till they start beating those teams, and then I'll feel good, and I can say, okay, now you can finally make some, impact in the playoffs. But if you're not winning those big games, yeah, you're not going anywhere. Tim Eason, Jermaine. I told y'all Liam Eichenberg sucks. He got Teron Armstead injured, took a T. Yeah, but Jermaine, you're probably the same guy who said Austin Jackson, and Austin made it. So that's the way I'm going to look at it, because the same person that picked on Liam picked on Austin, because that's kind of the way it goes. So make sure that at least you have some balls and say, well, they fixed Austin, but they broke Liam. Liam's not good. He can't. You know what I'm saying? And remember to, also mention that they found Wynn and they found Kendall Lamb, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you have the entire equation before you just point at one. So you were wrong about Austin Jackson because they fixed Austin Jackson, and you were right about Liam Eichenberg. Okay? Because I know you didn't say Austin Jackson was fine. No one said that. Los Dolphanicos, Howard should have been all game on Stephon Diggs. You know that. I know that. But apparently Vic Fangio, I don't know. So Lisa Rose is in. Looking forward to getting back on the winning this week. Yep. But it's like you win, but, you beat the Giants. No big deal. Any NFL team can beat you on Sundays. Players play with pride. The Texans are playing tough, so any team can kick you in the mouth, especially if you don't take your opponent seriously. That sounds really good, and it's very cliche-ish and all that stuff. Show up and, play with some cojones. And the Dolphins have no cojones. Because it's only been 1 year and 4 games. Fangio's only 4 games in. I know it hurts. If by week 10 we're still struggling, then no excuses. Frankie, there's no excuse, bro. Fangio, week 4 is not an excuse. Leaving Kohu on Diggs the entire game, has nothing to do with whether you know the defense, know the players. Oh, it's only week 4, week 10, week 15. It's stupidity. Okay? What Vic Fangio did on Sunday, it falls into the top 10 all-time stupid-ass coaching decisions in Dolphin history. If we started to make a list of the top 10, Vic Fangio, I guarantee you, is in the top 10, maybe top 5. Okay? It's the stupidest freaking thing I've ever seen in my life. An elementary kid would figure out, maybe I'd rather put X on Diggs. I know I got to change up my defense, but that's probably what I should have done from the get-go. But, I get it. He moves around. It alters what you do in the secondary. You got changes in the secondary. But how did it work out anyway? So, Frankie, he gets no breaks on the 10 weeks. No, that's for the whole team to know their defense. Well, apparently they don't know it anyway. So why not have X follow Diggs? And if Diggs burns X, we all can live with that. What we cannot live with is that you allowed a second-year corner to cover one of the 5 best route runners in the NFL. One of the 5 best or 10 best receivers, but easily one of the deadliest route runners that there are. He knows how to set up corners almost better than any receiver in the NFL. He's been like that since out of college. That's the thing that stuck out about Diggs coming out of college. Scouts love the fact that he was a disciplined route runner. Super smart when it comes to route running. So I couldn't disagree with you more on the bullshit of giving Fangio time. Screw that shit, dude. What Fangio did on Sunday was a crime, was irresponsible, was pathetic, was stupid, was ignorant. And he served his team up for a loss because that tilted everything in that game in their favor. And it made it so obvious. You made their attack so easy. Let's just attack Kohu. So I couldn't disagree with you more. In fact, I think any Dolphin fan that says that is giving Vic Fangio a complete hall pass. And that's disgusting. That guy's making $4.5 million. Get your damn job done, dude. You were pathetic against the Chargers. Why, you made a play at the end? Give me a break. So far, Vic Fangio has been horrible in the first month. He better improve. You want $4.5 million? Well, brother, you're going to get $4.5 million of heat. You want everybody coming at you and I'm Mr. Hot Coordinator? Well, then do your job. Do your job. I don't have time to wait for you, dude. I don't have time. I don't have time for stupidity. And leaving Kohu on Diggs is pure stupidity. It's almost as dumb, not quite, but almost as dumb as Pete Carroll calling a pass play in the Super Bowl. Very few things I can think of that are dumber than what Vic Fangio did on Sunday. So I think I disagree with you, Frankie. Gus 1388. Jermaine is in. Pat in Nashville says, if the D improves, we will be okay, but yikes, it's bad right now. If the Giants score more than 14, we're in trouble. I don't, Pat, they should not be in trouble in any way, shape, or form with the Giants. The Giants are not impressive offensively, defensively. They're not impressive at all. So you cannot lose to the Giants. That cannot happen. Eichenberg has to go. There's no doubt that Eichenberg has to go already. Shula, the big adjuster, had Dan Marino for many years and couldn't get him enough talent to win a ring. Yeah, that's not an adjusting. That's drafting. You might want to learn, actually, the English language. Adjusting is making Jim Jensen into a halfback. That's adjusting, my brother. Adjusting is playing with Woodstock at quarterback. My man, you need to learn the English language so you can actually use it the proper way. Okay? What failed Shula was drafting. The general manager failed Don Shula, the coach. Okay? First, learn the sport, learn what actually happened, read a couple of books, and maybe you can learn the English language the proper way, and maybe you can actually learn the Dolphin history the proper way. Okay? The great adjuster finds Lifford Hobley off of the scrubs and puts him on the active roster. You know, that's what the great adjuster does. The great adjuster coaches a scab team and wins more than everybody else and is the least penalized with a scab team. When you don't know about the great adjuster, please don't ever in your life talk about the great adjuster Don Shula, because you have zero knowledge and zero education to talk about Don Shula. But when you want an education, just come on over. Go to Hialeah on Thursdays. I'll give you an education, my brother. I'll teach you football. I'll teach you everything about the great adjuster, Don Shula. Okay? I love these people that have no freaking clue what the hell they're talking about. Oh, if there's something that's really easy at times, is to school some of you fools. You know, because you're quick at opening your mouth and you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Vic Fangio needs to let his players make plays. He has major trust issues with new players. He has done it everywhere he's been his first year with the team. Big O, I have to admit that I've been disagreeing with you about Boyer. After watching the game, you're right. Boyer did better with less than Fangio. Dude, I never said Boyer was this great coach or anything. Never said that. Go listen to it. I just never said Boyer was as bad as you people made him out to be. And I also said that defense really never cost him a game. So, and he had no talent. He had no secondary. X was injured. It was the safety, and it was over. No one else was playing in that secondary. He had injuries all over the place. He's done more. He's done better than Vic Fangio did against the Bills. They used to stop the run under our boy Boyer, right? Didn't they used to stop the run? Kind of the same players, right? What didn't the same players, weren't they one of the better teams against the run? Anyway. Big O, did you already cancel your Airbnb? No, I have not. I haven't canceled anything. I get it, bro. You guys are emotional cripples. Just because I criticize, oh my God, he's being critical. He's a bad fan. No, dude, this is not about fan stuff. Go watch your little fan shows on YouTube. Okay? Go watch your little fan shows. I don't give a shit about your fan shows. I call things like I see it. And that's it. The Dolphins don't deserve any benefit of any doubt whatsoever. They got to earn it. That was my mistake. I gave them something they didn't deserve, respect. They hadn't earned shit. They haven't won anything. What did they do? What, they snuck into the play? They backed into the playoffs and lost. I'm not impressed with that. And I was stupid for thinking that they were ready for this moment on Sunday. And clearly, when you get throttled by 28 points, physically, mentally, you got smoked. You got schooled in your coaching. You weren't ready for this. You peed in your pants all over the game, making mistakes. You can't win a challenge, pre-snap penalties, same shit over and over again. The moment of truth came up, and you shit your pants. So it's my fault. No one else's. I put expectations on them they did not deserve. That's all. And I sold it to you guys, which was wrong on my part too, because it's misleading you. It's basically what I did. I misled you guys. I made a mistake. I made a huge mistake. I should have been like a lot of you out there, very cautious approach, like, nah, not yet, not yet. Yeah, nice win. Great, that's 70 points, but it doesn't mean shit. And we need quality wins, bro. We need to see you beat Philadelphia and Kansas City and Buffalo. We need you to do well against those teams. So if you're not doing well against those teams, then yeah, you're not the team. You'll never be that team. Marcus Chabot, thank you for the love on the super chat, brother. Appreciate it. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And you don't stay, Big Gary, you get Vic Fangio if you can get Vic Fangio, my man. Okay? I get the Vic Fangio change. I defended Boyer only because I thought people were completely unfair to the guy. Okay, his team, his unit was completely injury riddled. He did the best he could do. Yeah, did he do some wacky shit with those DBs and all? But, you know, I understand that, but don't blow up that situation to make it the whole season. And you really can't look at a game where, oh my God, the defense got blown out like they did in Buffalo. You know what happened on Sunday? Never happened to Josh Boyer. Not one time did it happen to Josh Boyer last year. Not one time. Not once. did Josh Boyer get blown out of a game? Not once. Okay? Not one. Baltimore and Detroit, they scored points on them in a half. And then the defense shut them completely down the second half. Offense did their job. They won the game. Now, one game was like what happened on Sunday under Josh Boyer, and he had less talent than these guys. And it was only a one-year starter, experienced coordinator. It was the first year he was a coordinator. He has no experience compared to Vic Fangio. He's not making the money Vic Fangio was making. He didn't have the demands that Vic Fangio had. That's all I'm saying. I've never told you he was great. I never told you Josh Boyer deserves a contract extension. I never told you he was God. Never told you any of that. All I ever told you was he didn't really cost him a game. And through 4 games of this year, Josh Boyer is a better defensive coordinator than Vic Fangio. So far, Vic Fangio is not better than Josh Boyer. Eventually, he will be, but right now, he isn't. Those are the facts. The facts are that Josh Boyer did better with less talent, way less talent than this guy does. So, he'll get better. He better. Nico Jones, preach, Big O. I've been watching the Fins since 84, and all those years I've never seen a team winning anything significant with a defense that allows opposing offenses to run right through them. What hurts, this is the best roster we've had in 20 years, and we won't be able to keep all of them. If they can't figure this all out, I see another rebuild in making yet again. And that's why I'm not picking on Chris Greer here. He gave them more than enough talent. It's up to them, dude. It's up to the coaches. You got to do what you, man. Does Riley always give Spo everything he needs? No. And yet Spo finds a way to maximize it. You know what I'm saying? Has Vic Fangio and Mike McDaniel through 4 weeks maximized this roster? No. And 2 games prove it. The Chargers and this one. Got lucky. You barely got out of that Chargers game, but you played like dog shit in that Chargers game. Christian, thank you for the love in the super chat. Agree 100%. Honestly, I tuned out in the 4th, sat in the yard, and sipped on a cocktail feeling exactly like you. Same old Dolphins can't slay the big dogs. I hate it, but it's the truth. If Josh Boyer was so great, didn't say he was great. Where did I say he was great? See, Frankie, you're just as guilty as others. You're inventing shit that I never said. Where did I say he was great? What did I just say? I just said that he didn't cost them a game and he didn't deserve the amount of criticism that he got. That's all I've said. That's it. Oh, and by the way, he's been 1 month in better than Vic Fangio with less talent. That's all I've said. Never said he was great. Never said to give him this big contract extension. Never said keep him and not go after Vic Fangio. Never said that. All I said is the criticism was absolutely unfair. And he never cost them a game. Something that Vic Fangio has already. Interesting. Well, Vic Fangio has, whoa, that's a new one. Vic Fangio has cost the Dolphins more games than Josh Boyer. Wow, that is fantastic. That's another one. Not only has Josh Boyer done a better job with less, but Josh Boyer never cost the team a game, unlike Vic Fangio, who chose to put Kohu on their best receiver. Yep. That's a new one right there. Forgot about that. Now we've added a new one. Vic Fangio has cost his team more games than Josh Boyer. 1-0. Let's see. And we got 13 more left. Can Vic cost you another game? Big O, how do you feel about people who say this is Fangio's defense because he doesn't have his players yet? You adjust? Are you not listening, Juan, or you just tuned in right now? You might want to rewind. I just talked about Spo and Shula. You adjust to your talent. You do whatever they can do. That's it. You don't try to force your defense onto players that can't play it. So if you're not versatile enough to change your defense or offense to accommodate what you have, you're not a very good coach. Okay, you didn't. You never said great. I never said great. I never said good. I never labeled him anything. All I said was he didn't deserve the criticism and he never cost his team a game, which is an amazing feat in that season with that defense. He never cost them a game. What happened on Sunday never happened to Josh Boyer last year. So, putting Kohu on Diggs is dumb, but the whole defense was terrible except for AVG and X. Yeah. Can't argue with you, DJ. You're 1,000% right, my brother. Chad says, I disagree, Frankie. If you're trying to win, you put X over. The Bills game is not a time to experiment and see if the kid can hang in there. I disagree. Of course. You don't put Kohu on Diggs, bro. You just don't. Stupid. Big O, I can't wait to hear Fangio's excuse on why he didn't make any halftime adjustments on Diggs today when he speaks to the media. A halftime, Devin, I would have made an adjustment after the first pass. I personally would have never even had that situation. I would have said X. I would have had X follow Diggs to the huddle, to the sidelines, to the bathroom, everywhere on the field, to his car, to the shower. Okay? Unless Diggs was going to the club to hit on some women, X has got enough women issues. That's where I want you to follow Diggs everywhere except when he goes, hoe chasing. If he goes hoe chasing, you can't go. You got enough of those issues, X. I would have had X everywhere where Diggs was at. Everywhere, dude. Why is it that a guy like Van Ginkel making minimum money can succeed and excel in both Flores' system and Fangio's, and then the big boys making the big money can't adjust and learn or fit Fangio's? It's a great question, Mike. It's a fantastic question. Maybe it's that Van Ginkel has got more heart and determination and fire and desire than Bradley Chubb does. Because Bradley Chubb has gotten money that he didn't earn. Oh, and by the way, you gave him money he didn't earn, and he's not earning the money. Okay? Bradley Chubb is going up there as one of the great thieves of all time in Dolphin history. That guy is stealing money without a gun and a mask. Holy shit. Does Bradley Chubb actually walk around the streets of South Florida like showing his face? Seriously. Because that is one dude that is, wow. Whoo, doggy. That normally that's crimes everywhere else. You get arrested for grand theft. Right? Isn't it over $10,000? He's stealing a lot more than $10,000. Forrest West Bay. What's up, dude? Bills fan here. Bro is a Dolphins fan. Tough game for Fins on Sunday. It's one game. Miami Mike too smart to overcome this. To not overcome this. Y'all are still on the upswing. It's part of the journey. Respect. Well, we'll see. Right? We shall see if he overcomes this. He played him 3 times last year. He should know what was coming, and he wasn't ready for it at all. So I was really disappointed with Mike McDaniel this Sunday. He had 3 shots at Buffalo last year. he had plenty of chances to really learn who the hell they are. You know? And he had no answer for them. Very, very disappointed in Mike McDaniel IQ-wise on Sunday. He got smoked badly, dude. I mean, badly. You got to watch that game. He had no counterpunch whatsoever. Vic Fangio refused to have a counterpunch. You know, Vic Fangio was more self-inflicted, whereas McDaniel was disturbing. It's like your team panicked. It's like you panicked all over again. Pre-snap penalties, you know, you just, you brain farted again with the run, abandon it. No, I wasn't happy with that performance. Not happy with that performance. So, I gotta see you grow a lot more than this, because like Fangio basically got bailed out at the end of the Chargers game and didn't learn much, and then this game he had no answers for anything, or refused to adjust. Maybe he refused to adjust because in order to have X follow Diggs around, you would have to rework that secondary and its responsibilities, and he wasn't willing to do that. And maybe you couldn't do that on the fly in the middle of the game, but that's probably why you should have done it throughout the week. Just unacceptable, dude. Unacceptable. When you see the communication and everything was going on with the Bills, and then the Dolphins can't communicate and can't get it done, unacceptable. The grocery store, then sweating as he sees Diggs go into a club. Exactly. That's where we have to tell X, hey, you can't go into the club. You got enough trouble. And he certainly doesn't know how to pick women. That's for sure. That's kind of been proven. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show if you want to make a donation to Cash App or Venmo. As always, and we appreciate it. Thank you. And yesterday, I should mention it, Ernest Ulavarro, thank you, sir. You sent me some Bitcoin yesterday. I appreciate it, Ernest. Thank you. I got that after I...
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
is the Big O Show. This 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 is
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
You know, I tell you guys all the time about Cutter's Edge Pro, man, and what they did with our backyard and made it a pure oasis. That's our Sylvester tree right there on a beautiful day, providing a ton of sunshine. We've got one exactly like this out in the front yard, and it is absolutely gorgeous. There's Bono hanging around on the artificial turf. What's up, Bono? What's the word, baby? There you go, wagging that little tail. Maiden, there she is. Ziggy. How you doing, Ziggy? There you go. So we got the doggies hanging out. So just want to give you a little, we got some of the trees starting off from this way with the artificial turf. You see, there's Ziggy again, of course. Got it all the way. And look, we got some flowers coming out. That tree now will start to also spring, and it's absolutely beautiful too. So got all that. They can do all kinds of things for you in your backyard to kind of make it an oasis, which is what we've done. And obviously the dogs can play. What's up, Bono? I got him there hanging out. Maiden, there she is. There she is, the one and only. She is mean as a skunk, by the way. Just want you to know. She's awesome with us, but I mean, if you're a stranger, you don't want to meet mated. So as you can see, and then the artificial turf, remember, there's no watering. There's no cutting the grass. It looks fabulous like this the entire time. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. Back here in this corner is where we put the barbecue. I wheel it out, cook, then I wheel it back in. See, looks beautiful, doesn't it? Flowers are coming out. It's awesome. And then when I want to play a little golf, there's my putting green down the side, which is a beautiful thing. There's one of the holes all the way to the other side where Bono is at. All lights up. It's really beautiful when it lights up. See, we got the rough. Got several. Got one on that side. Got one over there in the corner. Where Bono's leaving. Got rough all over the place, man. Just in case, you get the ball trapped in there. That's it. That's another swing. Right, Maiden? So, check it out, cuttersedgepro.com. Make your home an oasis. Make your business, your HOA complex, condominium, you name it, they got you, bro. They do it all. All right? Then cut your trees down, and the artificial turf, I swear by it. Really easy to maintain, and it looks just absolutely freaking beautiful. Cutter's Edge Pro. Right, Ziggy? For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
There we go. Hopefully Matt Verderam will be joining us there. Make sure you send him a reminder. He usually pops in on time. So we'll get hour number 2 here started. Sorry about the technical snafu. Hateful Steve, by the way, chimes in on Cash App. And I appreciate it as always. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. I'm sorry, through Venmo. And he says, I don't think there's any doubt where I stand on this issue. Yes, Steve, we know where you stand on this issue. By the way, Cutter's Edge Pro. Let's talk about Will. Will is one of the best human beings you'll find on the planet. Mike is one of the most creative dudes out there. And you'll experience it when you take your home, your business to the next level by calling our friends at Cutter's Edge Pro. Tree trimming and removals, landscape design, outdoor lighting, irrigation design and built, synthetic turf. They do it all. This is why I tell you all the time about Cutter's Edge Pro. I've experienced it myself. And, you know, now that our yard's been there in place for over a year, the artificial turf has been in place. No grass going through it or anything like that. That's what you got to be very careful, because there's a lot of other people that might put in, you know, artificial turf, but they don't install it the right way. And then you got grass growing through it and it's a disaster. Ours is impeccable and it looks great every single day. And the dogs love it and I love it and the dogs love it. But my wife loves it even more because we don't bring any dirt or mud into the house. So it's good. I take the dogs out, they run around, and then they come in and there's no paw prints all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And then your wife is freaking out. I just cleaned the floors. So call my friends at Cutter's Edge Pro. If you own dogs, artificial turf is the absolute bomb. Outdoor lighting, irrigation, artificial grass, they do it all. And by the way, tree trimming and removals, you got stuff hanging on the wires or roofs or anything like that. Dude, don't go up there and risk your life. Call the professionals, 954-472-0622, anywhere in Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach counties. Cutter's Edge Pro, and go to the Instagram page, Cutter's Edge Pro, and check out a lot of the work there. Let's do it, baby. Let's talk a little football. Matt Verderam is next. Here we go. What's up, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling well. How are you?
Oh, terrible, bro. Just absolutely terrible. You know, I thought they were ready for the moment. I should have. I should not have done that to myself. And what the Dolphins did on Sunday was disgusting. It was so unprepared. A lot of the same issues, the pre-snap penalties. You gave up on the run. You kept selling us Eichenberg. Just, it was just a disaster what happened on Sunday. And you physically and mentally got manhandled too. And, Mike McDaniel played that team 3 times last year. So I figured he had a lot of information, and I figured he was going to be able to counter. And then to watch Fangio hang Kohu out to dry the entire game out there with Stephon Diggs and not put X on Diggs. I would have had X following him to the bathroom, to the huddle, to the sidelines, to the car, unless he went to the club, because X has got a lot of problems with women off the field. I would have told X, the club is the only place I don't want you to follow Diggs, but follow him anywhere else he goes. And to hang that second-year corner out to dry, that basically tilted the entire game in their favor. And, it was over after that.
Yeah, the first quarter and a half, it looked like a game that was just going to be an absolute shootout where you looked at it and went, all right, 45-42. One team kept scoring, the other one didn't. And that was pretty much the tale of the tape. Now, look, I will say this. I picked Miami, as a lot of you know, to win the division before this thing started. And I picked them right now. I still think they will win this division. I still think they are the best team. I picked Buffalo last week to beat Miami because when you win the way the Dolphins won in week 3, even if there are looming issues, and there were with this defense, it's hard to focus on them when you win by 50 points. And the Bills, let's call it what it is, they gave the Dolphins a good old-fashioned ass kicking. I mean, that was, we are just going to beat the brakes off you. And to me, and you and I talked about this a touch before the game last week, you've got to run the ball against Buffalo. You have to take the air out of them a little bit. And I thought in that game, McDaniel got into the way that the Bills want to play, which is just drop back and wing it all over the field. And listen, I get that the Dolphins did that successfully against Denver, against the Chargers. But Buffalo is a different animal. Buffalo has very good players in the secondary. Now, the loss of Tre'Davious White is a very big deal long-term, but he's a very good player who's there for most of that game. They have very good coverage linebackers.
Jordan Poyer, that was a huge loss.
Right, he wasn't there. Correct, right. But this is a team that if they get you the way they want to get you, they can really put it on you. And I thought Miami in that game played the way that Buffalo wanted to play. And, ultimately, look, my bigger concern is the defense. The offense is going to be fine. The offense will be fine. Like, it is what it is. They had a bad second half. Offensively, they'll be fine. Defensively, at some point here, like, you got to be able to cover somebody. And against Denver, that doesn't show up. Against New England, there's no offense. It's not going to show up. The Chargers went up and down the field all game long, and the Bills scored 48 points. Now, it's a new coordinator. Jalen Ramsey's not there. Jalen Ramsey's not going to be there for a while. So at some point, it's got to get figured out. I still believe the Dolphins will figure this out. I wouldn't be shocked at all. In fact, I'll probably pick them when they play the Bills that beat them in Miami. But that game, you now have to respond the right way. You can't just go in the tank and go, well, we're just not as good as we thought. No, you're still a really good team. Go out, hammer the Giants, get right, and get going. And they have to respond in the right way. And that's what I'm looking for this week out of Miami.
Yeah, I would. Well, I mean, but the Giants aren't really a measuring stick.
No, of course not. The Giants stink, but that's my point. They'll go out and smoke them. Don't mope all week and then lose some game you shouldn't lose or win by 3. Right? Go out and hammer the Giants and get back to feeling good about who you are.
Yeah. No, I got you.
Because these next 2 games, by the way, should be a joke. I mean, the Giants and the Panthers, they should beat by 100 points. So go out and win these 2 games. Get yourselves to 5-1. And then you got a big game on a Sunday night against Philadelphia. That is a measuring stick game. That is on the road in Philly. and you see where you are a little bit. Have you fixed some of your defensive woes? Have you stuck to the ground game here these next couple of weeks? Because I'll tell you, as we all know, against Philly, you better run the ball in that game. Because if you're in a pass rush situation with Philadelphia, good night. That team will have two on his back all evening. So we'll see. But these next 2 weeks are get-right games. Win these games, and we'll use these games to work on stuff that you're going to need to execute when you play Philly, when you play Kansas City, when you play Buffalo again.
Right. Yeah. No, listen, that's where I'm going to measure you. I'm going to measure Philly. I'm going to measure you in Kansas City. I'm going to measure you in the next Buffalo game. If you can't win your share of those games, you still have not arrived, unfortunately.
Correct.
And that's just the facts, because I've had fun with this team over the years that we've kind of been stuck in the middle. Steeler Wheels, that song, Stuck in the Middle. And so that's kind of what it feels like when you get trounced by Buffalo. It's like, okay, bro, you can beat the middling teams, the lesser teams at times, but when it comes to the better teams, you just don't, show up. And so to me, the next 2 weeks are just stuff that you pad your schedule with, but it's Philly the next test. I want to see if you could show up in these kind of moments, and I want to see this coaching staff also show up in these kind of moments.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's totally fair. McDaniel has to look. I think McDaniel's a great play caller, and I think he's a really good coach. I do. I think Mike McDaniel's an excellent coach. But Mike McDaniel has had a tendency in some of these bigger games to get away from himself a little bit at times. And listen, he's human, and there's a tendency to chase sometimes. You get behind, the defense isn't playing particularly well, and all of a sudden it becomes, all right, hey, like we got to put the pedal through the floor here. And I think there's actually sometimes that can be almost like quicksand. When you try to do that, it gets worse. It's almost like in basketball, right? Like if a team goes on an 8-0 run, best thing to do is just call timeout. Call timeout, regroup a little bit, go to a set out of bounds you like, get a couple of cheap points, and then go from there. Now in football, you're not just going to blow a timeout. It's a little bit different. But sometimes it's like, hey guys, you know what? Let's run the ball a little bit on this drive. Let's throw a couple of short passes, get some cheap yards. Especially on the road, especially when you're in a hostile building and it's starting to get away from you a little bit, slow the game down, run the ball. I know, as everybody knows, you're a Chiefs fan, so bear with me. But I remember last year in the Super Bowl, they came out of half down 24-14. That game was getting away from them. And if you go back and watch that game, the first drive out of halftime, they didn't throw the ball. They ran the ball down Philadelphia's throat all the way down the field. They just basically handed off to Isaiah Pacheco and said, all right, Isaiah, go for it. And it settled the game down. It was a long drive. It took some of that amped up feeling out of the game. I thought Miami, when it got down 20-14 and 27-14, I thought that was an opportunity to run the ball. A-Chan looks incredible. Give him the ball, let him run, go get a touchdown, and then you settle the game a little bit. They never did that. They throw the pick to Hoyer, or excuse me, to Hyde. I apparently combined Hyde and Poyer to Hyde. And that was the game. I mean, the second that happened, that game was over, right? That was where the Dolphins needed to settle it, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, no, he abandoning the run is something that he's done, too often. And it's like, dude, I thought this was going to be part of your thing. It's kind of like who you are and all that kind of stuff. And I think he also puts, by doing that, he puts so much pressure on Tua in the passing game. You got to have some balance, dude. Everybody should have some balance. And at times, and especially when A-Chain's averaging 11 yards a carry. I mean,
you have to give him the ball. You have to give him the ball.
Yeah, you got to give him the ball. Hell yeah. And Mostert is also doing a terrific job. I don't understand why you don't keep milking those two guys who are weapons for you coming out of the backfield, even catching the ball too. Those guys. What'd you think this week? The MILF monster actually got a couple of passes there, and they actually scared the crap out of Kansas City this week.
I gotta tell you, Zach Wilson played great. Like, The Chiefs didn't help themselves with some of the things they did in that game. Mahomes had, I actually think Mahomes had the worst game he ever had. He was terrible.
Yeah, he didn't play well. Yeah, he didn't
No,
play
he's off. At least with his arm. His legs actually ended up winning them the game, but his arm was terrible. Zach Wilson actually made throws in that game that I was like, oh my God. Like, what? I was stunned. He had the drive out of halftime. He had 2 back shoulder throws into like really good coverage. And then he gunned a touchdown pass in there on 3rd down. Sometimes you just got to look at a guy and go, you know what, man? I know what everybody thinks. I know how he's played. Like, I get it, but he's on one tonight. He looks awesome. And in the end, his stats were for a normal quarterback, they were fine. I mean, he averaged 6.5 yards an attempt or whatever. But for Zach Wilson, he looked like Dan Marino. I mean, he was incredible how well he played. I was shocked. And if you're the Jets, I think you've at least got to feel like, hey, man, if he plays like that all the time, we can win some games. I mean, you look at that and go, all right, the defense is good. You know the defense is good, right? So if Zach Wilson can go out and complete 25 of 36 for 250, you're going to win some football games. You're going to win a lot of football games. And I think if you're the Jets, you feel pretty good. And I think we lost Big O here, so I'm just going to hang out and I'm going to take over the show. And for the Chiefs, look, it's one of those games. It's ugly. It's a game that you're going to take a lot of the tape and not be thrilled about it. But in the end, they found a way to win despite 2 turnovers, a safety, some sloppy play with penalties. I mean, defensively in 4 games, the Chiefs have given up 51 points. So they've actually defensively been fantastic. I mean, Wilson in that game certainly did a job on him more than you'd ever expect. But it was a game that I thought overall, look, it's one of those deals. You go on the road, you win ugly, you move on. Do I think the Chiefs are worried about it? No, I will say this. The Chiefs receivers at some point have got to do better. The Chiefs receivers are a mess. 7 catches, 65 yards have been brutal. They do need to figure that out. But it's been bad. It's been bad. Bad football from the Chiefs receivers. Anyway, enough of the Chiefs. I thought the worst performance of the week. The Giants are so bad that there almost needs to be answers laid out as to where that team is going and what's going to happen. Because you spent $160 million on Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones can't play. And Daniel Jones couldn't play last year. Like, everybody talks about the fact that he had a career year. Daniel Jones threw for 3,200 yards and 15 touchdowns. I understand he ran for 700 and change. That's great. He threw for 3,200 yards and 15 touchdowns. I mean, he's a guy. And the Giants panicked at the witching hour of the franchise tag deadline because they didn't want to lose Barkley, but they also didn't want to pay him. And so the answer to that was, well, we'll pay Jones and we'll structure it in a way we only got to pay him for 2 years, right? And we can get out of it. But that way we keep Barkley. Well, Barkley's been hurt again, and Barkley's a fantastic talent, but he's hurt quite a bit. And now all of a sudden you have this situation where you're looking at Jones going, okay, he's not good, and he's behind an offensive line that is basically made up of 5 greeters at Walmart who have never watched a football game. I mean, I've never seen an offensive line get beat that bad. 11 sacks, 10 of which were on Jones. That's impossible. But that's also on Jones. So that's on everybody. To be that bad, and you're not calling out the right protections, you're not aware of anything. It's on the coaching staff. The Dolphins seriously should beat the Giants by 30 points. The Giants are absolutely a disaster. The only thing the Giants can do occasionally is get pressure up front. Thibodeau's playing well this year. He's turned the corner. Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, all that, right? The Dolphins have to account for that. Other than that, there's nothing. The Giants have no receivers, okay? Waller is at this point of his career basically a hood ornament. They've been awful. And as we welcome in Big O back to his own show. I've taken over for you. You're lucky. I used to do this for a living, or I did my own show. The Dolphins should win that game going away, and if they don't, that is a big issue.
We got real problems.
There you go. That's right. We
seamlessly
transition
either one of the next two games. You got real problems if
you
end up doing that. So anyway, Zach Wilson actually
he played well. He played well, and at some point you got to give him credit. The Chiefs didn't help themselves. I thought they sat in too much soft zone in that game. I thought at times they could have maybe heated him up a little bit with some blitz packages, which the Chiefs actually like to do, but they haven't had to do much of this year because their pass rush has gotten home with Karlaftis and with Jones. They gave him some easy throws underneath because I think they felt like, well, if they give him these easy throws and they bottle up Hall, that's fine. The problem was that he made so many of the throws that then they had to kind of change the defense a little bit, going a little bit more base instead of being a nickel. And Hall was still able to crease him. The play of that game, not that I'm sure many Dolphins fans care, but the play of that game was Brian Cook, a second-year safety for the Chiefs, making an incredible tackle downfield on Breece Hall. That was the game. If he doesn't make the tackle 20-20, the Jets, it's an 85-yard touchdown run. That game might be out of the gate. And he tackled him by his shoelace. And the Jets then went 3-and-out at the punt. The Chiefs went and kicked the field goal, won the game. By the way, I see a true Fin fan saying, with today's rules against the defense, the Fangio bend don't break scheme will make Jones look really good. You know what? I hear you. But I got to tell you, if I'm Fangio in this game, all you do is sit on the short stuff. I mean, they can't throw over the top. They don't have the ability to do that. So if I'm Fangio, I'm sitting single high all game long. 8 guys down near the line of scrimmage beat me, man. You want to throw it to Darius Slayton over my head? Cool, go for it. You want to actually play Jalen Hyatt, who has barely played at all this season, the 3rd-round pick out of Tennessee? Fine, go for it. But I'm not letting you dink and dunk me to death. And by the way, I thought that was the one thing I thought the Chiefs made a mistake with the Jets. That was a game that if I'm the Chiefs, throw it over my head, beat me. I don't care. Put 8 guys in the box and make Zach Wilson throw. Now, to his credit, he actually did throw one deep down Lazard. That was more of a prayer than it was like a really executed or well-executed pass. I was surprised at the way that game played out. But Sean, welcome in. Welcome to the party.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to jump on for Big O right now as he's having a little bit of issues. But I wanted to ask you, the Giants, they're the Dolphins favored 10.5. I don't know if it dropped since then.
Sure.
Think that's a good line, or what are you thinking in this game as far as?
Yeah, I think it has to be, man, because if it's under 10, everybody's going to bet the Dolphins, right? So if you're Vegas, you kind of got to put it over that 10 threshold. 7 and 10 are the magic number, 7, 10, and 3, right? So I think if you're Vegas, if the game was in New York, maybe you do like 7.5, 8, something like that. But with the game being in Miami, the Dolphins should score 30 points on that defense without even blinking. I mean, then you get to the question, okay, does Daniel Jones, could he get up over 20? I don't know. They can't score. I mean, I wrote a column about it after the game, and I forget the exact numbers. If you take the second half out of that against Arizona, if you take that second half out, there's something like Jones has 0 touchdown passes and 6 picks. I mean, they're atrocious. And they're averaging like 4.3 yards per pass or something. I mean, it's something ridiculous. The column's up on SI. People want to read it. It's so bad that, to me, if you're the Dolphins in this game, you're like, look, we don't need the blitz to get home. We're going to choke off the run game. We're going to sit on all these short underneath passes. And by the way, you can even sit really in the middle of the field because Jones doesn't like to throw the ball outside the number. So if you're the Dolphins, just congest the short middle, 10 yards and in, and call it a day. I just don't think the Giants have any answer for it. I mean, if you're Fangio and he's got to throw the ball deep, you win. Game's over. So I let him do that all day long.
All right, I want to jump around the league if that's all right with you, Matt, real quick. Bengals, what is going on?
Burrow is playing like one of the worst quarterbacks in football because right now he is one of the worst quarterbacks in football. He can't move. I watched that game against Tennessee. He can't plant and drive off of that leg. So everything's got to be short. Sean. Everything's underneath. They can't stretch you vertically with Higgins, who's now even hurt, and then Chase, who's, of course, one of the better deep ball receivers in the league. They can't do any of that. So everything's just dink and dunk. The offensive line hasn't held up. It has not been good. And I think what you're looking at now is a team that they know that Mixon's gone after this year. Boyd's gone after this year. Potentially Higgins has gone after this year, might get franchise tagged. And so I think they kind of know, like, we got this window this year, and not to say it's not there next year. I mean, you still have Burrow and Chase and a lot of good players in defense, but like, this is a huge year for the Bengals. And I think they're doing everything they can to kind of, plug the holes in the boat and try to find a way. But if you're going to play like this, there's no point. You might as well just sit him. He can't move. And frankly, worse, he can't protect himself. I mean, Tennessee in that game just blitzed the daylights out of him. And he can't move. I mean, he just got hammered. To me, Cincinnati's got Seattle, actually Arizona first, then Seattle, then a bye week. Why not sit him these next 2 games and the bye? Give him a month. If you can't beat the Cardinals with a backup, you know what? You're screwed anyway. So get to 2-4 and rest them, because out of the bye, they get the Niners and the Bills. And if they're not right for those games, they're going to get hammered. I think the Bengals are really doing themselves a disservice by not just getting them right.
And then now, do you think they made a mistake? Because they had, I forgot who was their backup, but they let him go, and then they kept
Jake Browning.
Yeah, Browning. And then now they've got A.J. McCarron, I think, on the practice squad.
Yep.
Is Browning, I think he's got like one NFL start or something. Or is it just the fact that they don't trust in those guys is why they're pushing Burrow so much?
I think it's a huge part of it. So they let Brandon Allen go. Browning's never played an NFL down in his career. Never played he never.
Oh, he has never. I thought he had one. Start.
Okay. And then Simeon they had in training camp, and they cut him. I got to tell you, I was at training camp a couple of weeks maybe after Burrow got hurt, and I was watching Browning and Simeon. They were rotating reps with the ones. I don't understand how in God's name they watched Jake Browning and said, this is good. This is fine. We should go with this guy. I mean, I was talking to a bunch of other reporters, mostly beat guys for the Bengals, and everybody felt the same way. If Browning's got to play this game, they have no chance. They're not going to win games. And I think they know that. So why they didn't go out and sign a Teddy Bridgewater, I don't know. Because Teddy Bridgewater was available after Burrow got hurt. Say whatever you want. I mean, I know Dolphins fans are familiar with Teddy. I'm not saying he's a top 10 quarterback. He's a hell of a lot better than Jake Browning. I mean, I'll take him all day long over Jake Browning. So I think that's part of it. I also think there's a little bit of, hey, look, Burrow just signed the richest deal in NFL history on a per-year basis. And I think there's a little bit of Burrow wants to play because he doesn't want it to look like he got paid, and he's sitting. And then, if you're the Bengals, you want to piss off the guy you just paid a fortune to. But sometimes, look, you just got to piss him off. It is what it is. I mean, he can't play. He's got to know it at this point. I think the Bengals have really done themselves a disservice the way that they've handled this situation with Burrow. Hey.
All right. All right, Matt. I have no idea what you've been talking about.
We talked about the Bengals. I did everything you needed to talk about the Dolphins and Giants. We're set up there. I talked about the Giants. What a disgrace that they've been all year long. So you should be in a pretty good spot.
Okay. Did you provide Matt Canada with his burner phone?
No, I did not. But Matt Canada, I have never seen a fan base hate a coordinator more than the Steelers hate Matt Canada. Every time the Steelers are on, my feed just populates with people screaming about Matt Canada. And I got to tell you, like, I feel like I get it. Like, Matt Canada has been an obvious issue. At the same point, what is Matt Canada supposed to do with Kenny Pickett? Like, this idea that if they get rid of Canada, Pickett's going to turn into Joe Montana. No, he's not. He's played a full season at this point in terms of games started. He has thrown 11 touchdowns to 13 picks. Now, you want to tell me he's going to be better? Okay, fine, here, better. He better be a hell of a lot better because he's not been good. Najee Harris, who everybody went crazy about, like, he's kind of been a guy. He's not bad, but he's not, like, unbelievable.
No, he's not.
They have George Pickens in what exactly on offense? I get it. I'm not saying Canada's done a good job. This idea that they're going to get rid of Canada and become the 99 Rams is just crazy.
But that burner account, Twitter account thing, it's not a good look for him.
Story. By the way, because I know we're up on time here.
He used his team email to open up that Twitter account.
If that ends up being proven to be true, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
Oh my God, that is funny.
It's by the way, I will say, I'm sure you've been following along. So the Broncos cut Randy Gregory today.
Yeah, they just cut him. Yeah,
70 million. Listen, I never do this because I'm not that guy. I like to take 5 seconds to say that I was a voice in the wilderness. When they signed him to that deal, I was just blown away. I was like, how could you sign 5 years and 70 million? And to be that guy for another 15 seconds. Okay, here's why I was apoplectic when that deal went through. Randy Gregory got 5 years, 70 million. Going into his time in Denver, he had 16 and a half sacks for his career. And they gave him 70 million. Would you like to take a crack at how many times he registered a sack in Denver?
Twice?
3.
Oh,
okay. 3 times. They paid him $70 million for 3 sacks. And this coming on the same day that the Chargers traded J.C. Jackson back to the pay. The Dolphins. The Chargers got a look at J.C. Jackson when you consider his injury, which is, of course, unfortunate. He played like 8 games for the Chargers? Yeah. They paid him $82.5 million, and the Chargers are like, you know what? Get out. And now they have to pay him all kinds of dead money. The Chargers and the Broncos today are showing you why they're the Chargers and the Broncos. I mean, that is about as bad as it gets. I'm not even saying that they're wrong with the moves they made today, like probably just correcting wrongs. But wow, the Jackson move, I thought was a good move for the Chargers at the time. So I'll eat all the crow in the world there. The Broncos move, that was a catastrophe of a signing the second it happened. I remember that, if you recall, that happened in a vacuum of the Cowboys thought they had a deal with Randy Gregory.
Right.
And then the Broncos swooped in at like the 11th hour and the 11th minute and signed him. And everybody in Denver was like, oh, this is a great coup. As it turns out, no, not so much. Like, it's one of the worst contracts in NFL history. And Denver's now eating a crap ton of dead money. No, well done. Well, and by the way, Denver's front office never gets any criticism ever. Like the Russell Wilson thing, Randy Gregory, and yet everybody's just still sitting there. It's incredible. If that happened in New York, those people would have been excommunicated from the city.
Yeah.
Those people would have to live in like Tucson after this. Yeah. And then everybody in Denver is just still sitting there chilling out. It's incredible.
Yeah. And by the way, the Sean Payton thing may not work out too. So, you
not been great to this point.
Huh?
Not been great to this point.
Yeah. So there's a lot of money thrown around, but then again, they got the Walmart money, bro. So they're fine. They print more money than the Federal Reserve at Walmart. So they're pretty good. All right, what do you got going on Sports Illustrated so folks can check you out?
Yes, piece today, kind of an all 22 thing, breaking down 3 big plays from last week. Although I will warn you up front, one of them is the Micah Hyde interception. So we got that. Got the quarterback rankings coming out. They come out tomorrow. And then I have another piece coming out where I break down the key matchup from every game, for every game coming up on the weekend. Thankfully, that piece comes out on Friday, so I don't have to break down the key matchup for Commanders Bears. The key matchup in that game is if the Commanders show up and they're breathing, they're winning. So we'll have all that. And then my Sunday column, which just runs throughout the entire day, which is literally the entire day when you have these international games. So you can check that out on the front page of SI. It's a reaction to every single game in the National Football League.
Follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderam. Matt, thank you for being a stud and hanging in there through all the technical difficulties. Appreciate it.
You got it. No problem. Take care.
Appreciate you. There you go. Boy, he was studly here, hanging in there, and appreciate all of you out there hanging in here through the crap, as always. Damn it. What else do we have going on? Yes, Essential Moving Experts. We love talking about Sean Williams. Do you guys need a moving service? How about a moving service you can count on? City to city, county to county, state to state, across the country. Call my guy Sean Williams at Essential Moving Experts. Moving never so easy. It's never been so easy, I'm telling you. Flat rates, which, my man Marcel Louis-Jacques, who just called Essential Moving Experts, he found out. Because if you haven't done the moving thing yet, you'll find out when you call. Well, yeah, we'll charge you $2,000 or $2,800. Which one is it? Well, we don't know. We'll charge you $700 to $1,300. Well, which one is it? Well, it all depends. It's not how they do it. Flat rates, no surprise charges. That's kind of the way they do things. They're differently than others. Safe and efficient loading and unloading practices all the time. They have over 1,700 happy customers that have filed their reviews, and they love Essential Moving Experts. Several of our listeners over the last 2 years, since Essential Moving Experts has been with us, have called and used them. Mention my name. You will get a discount, folks. Call Essential Moving Experts right now. 386-213-4054. If you're moving your home, your business, doesn't matter. And by the way, they can store your goods up to a month in their warehouse. So if you're waiting for the new home or the new business to open because they're remodeling or it's a new thing or something along those lines, and you can't bring everything over yet, Essential Moving Experts can actually store your goods for up to a month on the house. And then if you need it longer, you can negotiate, a longer stay. But call my friends, call Sean Williams, call Brooke, all the great people there, man. They're in Daytona. That's where their home offices are, but they service the entire country. 386-213-4054 for essentialmovingexperts.com. All right. 70 million, 70 points allowed. I'm seeing a trend. Yeah, that's a good one, Pat. I like it. Gregory only had 2 sacks, not 3. Oh, really? He only had 2, not 3? Oh, there you go. Oh, tell us about the super secret call from a few weeks back. No, nothing. That's why it was super secret. I can't tell. I've been sworn. Kind of like the Jordan Love thing that I couldn't tell you that it was Jordan Love. I could only tell you that he didn't want Tua. He wanted another quarterback, and then eventually, as I would tell all of the writers that we would have on, Omar was the one that dug and finally found out that it was Jordan Love. But I was sworn not to tell. So I am sworn not to tell about that nugget. But you'll find out about it in due time. Everything has its time and its place, and that will eventually unearth itself. If I don't unearth it for you down the line, somebody else will. But I just don't think anybody on the beat knows what's going on. So that's why. I think I'm the only one on the beat that knows. Kind of like I was the only one that knew that Flo was like running roughshod through the building and all that stuff. And I was the only one that knew that he was going to get fired and, that kind of stuff. So, it's not anything that affects what's going on right now. So that's all I can say. Okay. At least not the team. Can't say about an individual, but definitely, team-wise, no. Let's see. Yes, Essential Moving Experts will definitely perform better than the Dolphins did against the Bills. I can guarantee you that, bro. Sean is hurting, by the way, because you look at the colors of the business. They're in Dolphins colors. He's Sean Williams. His company's in Daytona. He has season tickets to the Dolphins. He drives down to the games. Okay? It's a hell of a fan right there. Good people, man. Really, really good people. When you meet Sean Williams, you've seen him on our show. Well, maybe he'll join us on Friday. But he's really a good dude. And if you listen, one of the things that I tell you guys, if you enjoy the channel, if you enjoy the coverage of all of our teams and all that kind of stuff, what's imperative is that you support us. Watching as much as possible, let the stuff watch, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, visit our sponsors, make a donation, all of these things, will help us stick around. And if you need a moving service, please use Moving Experts, because they are not only are they fantastic, but obviously they support us and support the people that support us, so we can keep this thing going and cover everything that you all need, especially Dolphins wise. We need an entire 2-hour convo with O and Matt just talking football. Well, I could actually pull that off. I need a sponsor. Nobody does shit for free. You know what I'm saying? And Matt's a friend of mine. Just like, Michelle comes on our show for years. Okay. And, now we got a sponsor, and so, and then we could get her paid, but, I can't abuse a relationship. And hey, come on for free. And I've done that before. And, like Sean Salisbury, he would come on every week for me. You know what I mean? And it was like, it got to a point where it was like, man, this is not fair to you, And so when I started this platform, sure, I can call my friends to come on, but I'm not going to abuse it. You know what I mean? And so that's why I tell you, this is actually a real business. We're not in mom's basement, and, we have no bills to pay, and we're just YouTubers and having some fun. No, we're actually media members. We're not YouTubers, we're media members, and we actually work for a living and cover this for a living and stuff. And so, yeah, I wouldn't mind. I think Matt wouldn't mind if we can carve a day out of a week where he joins me for an hour or something to do it. But that has to be sponsored. It has to be sponsored. You know what I mean? So, you own a business, you want to sponsor a Matt Verderam segment, we can do that. It's a very popular segment. Your business will get a lot of exposure on it. So that's the beauty of it. Video-wise, audio-wise, it gets a lot of downloads, a lot of views. And that's where, after everybody makes that suggestion, they all shut up. Oh, it takes money? I got nothing else to say, So, that's the funny part about it. Anyway, we had a bunch of super chats come in, right? Let's get those going, Sean, because I know we had some. John C., I watched the All-22, kept hearing how they got us with 4 D linemen all day. BS. They blitzed linebackers and DBs most of the time. The D is bland. Wilkins was blocked one-on-one on tackling, was terrible. By the way, John C., I talked about that also. It wasn't, they blitzed a lot early, and then later on, they also added blitzes. That they picked up one of the sacks on blitz. So they felt they had to put a little extra pressure. They did get pressure at times with just 4 guys. They did, blitz also. But you are right. When you watch the film, you'll see more blitzing than what people thought. Oh, no, they're only going to get pressure with 4 guys. No, they at times, they mixed it up. That's why McDermott outcoached the shit out of McDaniel. Next. John C. again, thank you, sir. I was actually encouraged after the All-22. Game changed on mystery fumble. Be more aggressive with front. We will be okay. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. No excuses for McDaniel. None for Fangio. Plenty of time to fix this. Plenty of time to become a respectable team. But for the moment, you're not going to get any respect from me right now. You lost it all on Sunday. You need to earn it now. I need to see you perform against the good teams at a high level and win some of these games. Okay? So plenty of time to fix it. I totally agree. We got 13 games and a postseason to fix it. But for the time being, I'll take a step back and say, let's wait and see if Mike McDaniel is really ready for these kind of moments. Because on Sunday, he was not ready whatsoever. Next up, Sean. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Send your questions, comments there, insults, all kinds of good stuff. Alexander, Big O, what is the best crypto platform to use? Okay. Now, here's what I want you to know. They're all the same. Crypto.com, Binance, BitGet, whatever you want to use. I don't give a shit. The key, my brother, is to have a cold storage wallet. You only use the exchange to buy the currency, and then you move it off into your cold storage wallet. You don't keep it on the exchange. Okay? That's the key now. But Crypto.com I use all the time with no problem whatsoever. You can use Binance. There's a couple of them that you can use, dude. But the key is that you have a bridge and you can move the money off right away into your cold storage wallet. Okay? Or as long as it's a custodian wallet, which means you have keys. 12 words, 24 words, whatever it is, a tangent wallet, whatever. Okay? But as long as you can control it, that is the main thing, my friend. Okay? Let's see. Big O still pondering Zach Wilson. Yeah. It's will he actually be able to throw 2 good passes next week? Maybe 3. But he got lucky this week. He did nice. Like most bad quarterbacks, every once in a while they'll have a good moment. So remember, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. Oh, any chance you do a Patreon? Sean and I have been talking about a Patreon for a while. Okay? We've been talking about that for a while. It's just the problem is that Sean and I are so overworked. So we do everything. Let's see. Don't know why some are treating Fangio like he's some rookie defensive coordinator. He is still being paid like a top 5 DC. I don't know. Well, whoever's treating him like that, that's he wants $4.5 million a year, more than some head coaches are making. Take the heat, bro. Take the heat. Zach always has that one game a year where he's great and then turns into Nathan Peterman the rest of the season. That's probably what will happen. I'm not surprised with that. And don't forget, folks, to hit the hell out of the like button there. Por favor. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar, folks. 980 West 22nd Street, 3A Graphics, custom printing and embroidery, 786-618-1443. Phillies defeated the Marlins yesterday 4-1. That sucks. They take a 1-0 lead in this 3-game series. Today is game 2. Marlins must win to stay alive. Braxton Garrett taking on Aaron Nola. Tonight, Inter Miami in action, 8:30, taking on the Chicago Fire. They are visiting the Chicago Fire. And Messi is questionable for this game. I don't think he's playing. I mean, whatever. But I don't think he's playing. And we got the Dolphins and Giants on Sunday at 1 o'clock. We will get you ready starting off at 11 a.m. with the pregame show. So make sure you tune in on Sunday as we get you ready for a little Miami Dolphins. We're in studio. We're not out on the road this Sunday like we were last Sunday. By the way, great crowd in Las Vegas. That Dolphins bar in Las Vegas was awesome. I mean, we've broadcasted this. That was our 4th show that we've done at Tommy Rockers because we did 3 days of the draft at Tommy Rockers. And going back today, going back this weekend, that was fun. And it was a Dolphin game and the place was packed, man. Dolphin jerseys everywhere. It was so cool. We gave away some new Big O shirts, which we will be giving those away soon here, and we will be selling them also. So yeah, we'll be getting that going. Green Lion. We badly need a Crypto Bro show. It's coming. I know I've been telling you that the last couple of weeks. I'm just waiting for the market to turn just a little bit more because I just don't want to make the theme every day of walking people off the ledge. My problem with that is, look, I'm not a financial advisor. And I tell you this all the freaking time. And so this is the worst part of the market, the last 6 months, year that's been going on, right? And it's still bad right now, like not for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has held, my God, it has held so strong, but the altcoins have taken, a shot, and it hasn't stopped me from buying altcoins, and so I don't know how many times I want to tell somebody look, man, I don't care what's going on. I'm going to keep buying Avalanche, and I'm going to keep buying Polygon. I'm going to keep buying Cosmos, and I'm going to, keep buying Cardano and this and that. And so I just don't want to get to that point where we're repeating and there's a lot of negativity in the market when this is the best time to invest. The worst time that you think it is actually the best time to invest. Okay. And I know I'm kind of doing like a little crypto segment here, but we've got the halving coming in April. They are going to start to lower rates next year. It's an election year. Biden and company are going to try to set things up for themselves for next year and make things really rosy, lowering rates, printing money, injecting the economy with dollars so people will feel happy and good and all that kind of stuff, and they'll vote for him and he'll get in and all. So to me, I've talked about this over and over again, but this is the part where the part of this whole investing thing where you have to stay the strongest and you have to hang in there, and you cannot pay attention to all the FUD that's out there, because you have too many people that are lying to you about what's going on. Way too many people that are lying to you about what's going on. They're not telling you how really bad our banking, our dollar is, all of that, And there's a reason why. Look at it. The market's gone down. Gold has gone down. So many things have gone. And look at Bitcoin is held up strong, dude. It's right now in the 27K. And, it went all the way down to 16.5 and it came back up. And then through all of this FUD you're watching, and, what's going on with the government and now the extra 45 days to keep, giving the government money and everything to pay everybody. I just think we're headed in an obvious direction. I just don't want to sit here every week talking people off a ledge. And, it's the hardest thing to tell you is, yeah, you keep spending money in the toughest times. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like doing that every week. I just don't. You know what I mean? I'm going to do it myself, but I just don't feel like repeating it all the time to other people. I don't know how comfortable they're going to be with it. It's just, and I repeat over and over, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a sports talk show guy. That's it. I'm not an expert in finances and your investment. I love crypto. I have an incredible passion for it. I study the market. I study politics, everything that's going on. I feel really good about my investments and where it's going. And I know Bitcoin is going to explode to levels that are just catastrophic, that people are going to go, oh shit, I should have gotten some. And when Bitcoin's hundreds of thousands of dollars, they're going to regret, you know what I'm saying? And they're going to remember any of the conversations that we've had in the past. But it's just hard to walk people off negativity every single week, which is what's gone on basically for the last year. And that's been my problem with that show. That if I do that show, I'm basically doing the same thing every week. Is why, hey, look, this is why this New York Times article makes no sense. This is why CoinDesk has this article and it makes no sense. Let me tell you what Elizabeth Warren and Biden and Yellen and Powell are doing right now with our monetary system. It's the same thing that I'm going to be repeating all over again. You know what I mean? And I've told you guys about this over and over again right here on the show, so I don't really have to do a whole show on it. When I do a short segment on it, I tell you constantly what they're trying to do to us. You know what I mean? Like you got banks now, you see Chase, they're not allowing you to buy crypto. Meanwhile, JP Morgan's buying Ethereum and buying tons of Bitcoin in Europe. But they want to limit their customers from buying crypto. Of course, because they want it for themselves, because they're the foundation of our investment, what's it called, for the stock market. They are the foundation of it. All these rich people, BlackRock, everybody, they're the ones that own all the Apple stocks and Microsoft and everything else. They own the big stocks and they own most of it. The rest of us, we sprinkle in with a little bit that we have. But the force is those rich people that are driving it in the stock market. They want to do the same thing in crypto. So they're scaring all of you away, and then they're scooping it all up. Why do you think it's not dropping? You know, they're not stupid, bro. They became billionaires and trillionaires for a reason, and they keep us stupid. And so this, what I just told you, is what I would have to repeat every week to do a crypto show. And I just don't want to do that every week. I just don't. It's just boring, and I almost feel like I'm just chasing my tail, you know? You guys can ask me any crypto question throughout the show every day, and I'll answer it, and I'll tell you exactly what's going on and what I think, and I'll give you my opinion. Not that it's golden or always right or anything like that, but I can give you my opinion on it. But I will say that any of you that are continuing to invest in the last year, God bless you, because you got the balls that you need in order to succeed and make it. Because the next time that the bull run starts, you are going to be one of the ones that is going to benefit in a big time way because you stayed strong through the toughest times. This is when people fold and they sell and they take losses and they're not willing to hang in there. I think with Bitcoin, it's a little different for some of us because if you got in from 16.5 down, some of you are up. You know what I mean? Like I am in the green with my Bitcoin and my Ethereum. Some of the other altcoins I'm not, but eventually I will be once it does explode. Let's see. Fangio's biggest flaws are lack of adjustment, lack of aggression. He should stop bad-mouthing his players. I don't know about that. By week 10, we should have played the Chiefs, Eagles. So by that time, I know if Fangio has made the adjustments or if he truly just sucks now coming out of retirement. We'll find out. I'm fixing and flipping houses when everybody is scared of the market. There you go. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do, bro. We've reached extreme fear. Time to nibble. The mainstream media hates crypto, and I don't get it because they don't understand it, Green Lion. A lot of people that are on this chat board don't care about crypto, don't know about crypto because they have no idea. That's why the ignorance and the intimidation, by the way, crypto is intimidating because it's completely different than what you're used to. And when you go buy, what's it called? Bitcoin for the first time, and you're like, okay, 0.001567. How much of that is what is that? What is 0.46 in crypto? What am I buying here? They don't understand that kind of stuff. Eventually they'll figure out that the point, and then to the right of it, it's just like a fraction. 0.5, well, then you're buying half of whatever it is, half of an Ethereum, half of but they won't understand any of that kind of stuff. Just simple little things like that are the first things that you've never done before in your life, because you don't buy stocks that way. You buy a stock, 2 stocks, 3 stocks. You don't buy 10% of Bitcoin, which 10% of Bitcoin right now is $2,700. You know what I mean? You don't buy 10% of a stock. Yeah, it's very intimidating. It's very intimidating. It's something that people just don't understand. They don't want to take the time. And so for now, the ignorance keeps them away from it. And then the dumb news, because most of the people on NBC, MSNBC, CNBC, Fox, they don't know anything about crypto and they're writing about it. That's the other thing. Like I met a guy, okay? He works, he works at a firm, okay? And he works in the crypto department of a firm, okay? Nothing on KSDT, by the way. It's something completely different. And he kind of does some what he does is he helps in their investments because it's kind of an investment firm, right? But he helps them in tracking their crypto, right? So I was, oh, all right, so you're into it, right? So I started talking to him about, and the dude doesn't know anything about crypto. He just like knows the names and then keeps track of what they're buying, but he doesn't necessarily know about the cryptos. And he doesn't know what Cardano does and all the different things, all the utilities that it has, from DeFi to stablecoin to what's it called, metaverse, Web3, the blockchain, the businesses on Cardano. He doesn't know anything about that. I talked to him about Polkadot, and he doesn't know what zero layer scale is. Because there's a layer 1, there's a layer 2, and there's layer 0, which is your it's all about interoperability, which you are connecting chains together. That's kind of what zero layer is. And so you've got to then learn what a layer 1 is, what a layer 2 is. And these are things that he did not even know. And most of you don't know, because most of you, like, what do I have to learn about a layer 1 blockchain, or a layer 2 or 0? Why do I have to learn about that? And then that's the problem. It's so intimidating. It's so new that then you've got to you have to take the time. And so crypto becomes incredibly intimidating to people, because it's like learning an entire new language. It's like learning an entirely new way of doing things. It's going to change the way we all do things. And it's going to happen whether you like it or not. That's what I keep trying to tell you. Whether you like it or not, your life is on the blockchain like it was on the internet. Whether you like it or not, in the 80s, and the internet was starting, right, in the late 80s to early 90s, correct? Something like that. Whether you like it or not, your life was going to be in the internet. Whether you like it or not, you were going to use email. You heard a whole bunch of people, I don't email, get the hell out of here, I don't need that. And everybody has email now. Everybody can't even live without email. The blockchain is the same exact thing. 10 years from now, you're going to look at it the same way. 10, 15, 20 years from now, it'll all be second nature to you. So that's just kind of the way it is. And so now we have a lot of ignorance. We have a lot of stupid people that don't know anything about it, and they're intimidated. And then they listen to the powerful people that are not stupid. They're conniving. They're evil. Okay? The Elizabeth Warrens of the world, they're evil. Okay? They're lying to you about it. Elizabeth Warren tells you, oh, crypto is corruptive and they can do more money laundering. There's more money laundering with cash than anything else in the world. You can't money launder with crypto. It all can be traced. It's an open ledger. Again, most people don't know that. So Elizabeth Warren can say stupid things, and because nobody's educated about it, they'll believe her or they'll listen to her, and she's completely lying. I don't care about the politics, dude. I don't care about Republicans, and I don't care about Democrats. Please stop it already. I don't care if you hear me rip Trump or you hear me rip Biden or whatever. Don't get comfortable thinking that I'm one side or the other. I don't care about either side. I care about Americans. Okay? Because I get it. The butthurt Biden people hear something and they reach out to me, and the butthurt Trump people, and they only hear their side. And I don't care about either of your pathetic sides. I just don't. I care about Americans. Don't care about anything else. So that's what's going on, dude. They just want to keep you stupid. Meanwhile, the Larry Finks and the Jamie Dimons and, of the world, they're scooping it all up behind the scenes. And then the hardworking people, all of you out there that could have a chance to own a Bitcoin at 16, 20, 25,000, you can take time and collect it. When it's at 100 and 200 and 500,000 and a million, you'll never be able to own it again. And they know it. So they want to scoop up all the cheap Bitcoin now. So, you guys can do whatever you want, but I'm telling you, in 5-10 years, you're going to remember all these conversations we've had in the last couple of years on this platform about that. And you're going to go, that son of a bitch was right. I should have bought. So, Sean Payton is washed, bro. That was a bad hire, in my opinion. And for how much they are paying him, he needs to be ripped. I'm sure that's coming if he doesn't get it done. Dolphins didn't even have to beat the Bills, just not play like total. Yeah, you know what, Jamesville? I would feel way different if the Dolphins went up there and lost an incredibly respectful game. They played super hard, played well, and lost by a point, 2, 3, 4. Walk away from that game going, hey, dude, they played a hell of a game. And the Bills, they took the Bills to the brink on the road. I'm all right with that. But what they did on Sunday, no, dude. I cannot give you a break. I cannot. Sorry about that. I'm just answering a question for somebody. All right, there we go. Let's see. Big O from upstate New York. Fangio is disappointing so far, but the loss of our center and Armstead really hurt us. Hopefully we'll get at least Williams back this week. He's a dominant blocking center. By the way, the Lamb thing did not hurt at all. So Armstead went out. Lamb did a good job. I checked. I watched the tape. Lamb only made one mistake. He didn't pick up a blitzer who came from the right side around, and he stayed with the guy sealing off the side, and he should have picked him up. And that guy went around Lamb and got a sack on Tua. So that was the only mistake that I noticed that Lamb really made when he came in. Lamb's done a really good job. The Connor Williams thing has to happen soon. Hopefully he's back this week. Because, Liam Eichenberg is just not the guy. Enough said already. We got to stop with this shit. Chris Greer has built an incredible team, smart contracts plus. He himself is only going to get better. Chris has done a good job, dude. It's up to the coaches now. He gave him a good enough team. Bro, Josh Boyer did better than Vic Fangio with less talent. Vic Fangio has way more talent than Josh Boyer right now. And he can coach better than Josh Boyer? I know he can. I know he's a way better coach than Josh Boyer. So prove it. I'm with you. Chris has done a good job. It's just up now to the coaches. You guys got to be the difference makers. It's another super secret. It is. If I don't keep the super secrets, then I won't have them anymore. So got to keep the super secrets. Lamb was not a problem. We didn't run again. Plus the defense played like horse ass filled with hemorrhoids. Wow. Horse ass filled with hemorrhoids. That's like an ugly image in your mind. Ray says, looks like the Giants all-pro tackle didn't practice and will more likely not play. No excuse for Miami not to get 10 sacks on Daniel Jones. Big O Peter Schrager on Good Morning Football was really upset at the Dolphins' loss to the Bills and was yelling at Fangio. You were right about Schrager being a Fins fan. I'm telling you, bro, Schrager's a Fins fan. Now, what was it that Cam said? That his kid's a Dolphins fan? What the Dolphins did this weekend, we all should be pissed. Yes, sir.
I was going to say it was in a report or in an article that his son is a fan of the Dolphins.
Okay, there you go. It's probably because he's a fan of the Dolphins, and he picked up on it, and he just doesn't want to admit it. But the way he carries himself on Good Morning Football for years now, okay, for years, he just rubs me like he's one of us. You know what I mean? Oh, by the way, I know the English language is like a barrier that's tough for some of you to cross. Okay, because, like I'm pissed at the Dolphins, or I'm pissed at Fangio, pissed at Mike McDaniel. And so I say, you got to prove it to me now, right? So some people are like, well, he's off the bandwagon now. We can't let him back on. And I'm like, okay, morons, let me explain the English language to some of you out there. First of all, I was probably a Dolphins fan before most of you were born, okay? Second, bandwagon, the definition of a bandwagon, follow me here, okay? This is a bandwagon. Are you all ready now? Messi Inter Miami fans. They're not Inter Miami fans. They just watch Messi and leave. Those are bandwagon fans. Bandwagon is, I now want to become a Milwaukee Bucks fan. So some of you are actually too fucking stupid to actually use the word in its proper definition. Bandwagon is when you get on something you've never rooted for in your life, and you're rooting for it only because it's winning. Okay? There's no bandwagon on a team that isn't a winner. And there's no bandwagon if you've been rooting for the team for 50 plus years since you were a child. So, maybe, you know what we got to do? Let's make this a segment here. Let's explain to people what bandwagon is, because apparently some of you still don't know what bandwagon is. Okay? You can be pissed at your team like I am and love your team. I'm pissed at the Marlins. They don't spend. Still love the Marlins. Doesn't stop me. I was pissed at Inter Miami a couple of years ago for their incredible stupidity. Okay? They had 5 DPs when you're only allowed 3. Does that mean I'm off the bandwagon? No. With or without Messi, I watch Inter Miami. But I can be pissed at them for doing stupid shit like Higuain, who was over the hill, wasn't worth it. And, dude, what's the name of the French guy? The one that Beckham brought over that was a stupid-ass signing on DP, a defender.
Well, he's doing a fantastic job with 10U soccer right now. That'd be Blaise Matuidi.
That's it, Matuidi. Doesn't mean I'm off the bandwagon. Would you like to check my closet on how many Dolphin shirts and jerseys and Inter Miami and Heat and all that I have, and hats and everything? How is it? It's stupid. And I get it. Some of you fans, you're emotional cripples, and you can't handle criticism of your own team. McDaniel and especially Fangio deserve all the heat this week. That's it. There's no bandwagon here. Now, if the Dolphins are 13-2, okay, in week 16, you're going to see other people around the country get on the bandwagon. That's when you use it. People that were never Dolphin fans, people that weren't Big 3 and Heat fans became Heat fans. Those are bandwagon. All of a sudden, you saw people wearing Golden State Warriors jerseys. Those are bandwagons. Learn to use the language the proper way. Okay? Bandwagon is not anything here when you're pissed at your team. Has nothing to do with it. Zero. Okay? Learn the definition. Hopefully, by watching this segment, you learned it. People are silly at times. So the Tampa Bay Rays lost yesterday. And yesterday, you saw that they had the lowest attendance since 1919. Did you see that, Sean? Since 1919, which was Game 7 of the World Series, which was the Black Sox, where they had 13,923. This is 1919, bro. It's a long time. It's over 100 years ago. And so they had a Black Sox scandal when they were cheating. And so you can understand why people didn't go. And Tampa Bay, who actually does a good job, I wonder why they don't draw more. Why there aren't more people on the bandwagon. And in a way, the Tampa Bay Rays, I gotta say, I have the same attitude about the Miami Marlins. Like, they made the playoffs, right? But I don't believe in them because I don't believe in ownership that is actually spending. I just think Kim Eng was pretty creative, and she did enough that with the limitations she has in money, she was able to find some of the right pieces, some pretty good trades, and enough to sneak into the playoffs. And God bless her, right? Injuries and everything to players, and they still made it. So I give them a lot of credit, and especially Kim Eng. But it's still hard for me to buy the Marlins because I just kind of find it like a novelty that you made it there. It's not anything of substance. It's not like you're building on it. It's not, you haven't shown me that you're going to sign several guys to long-term contracts and build a core. I haven't seen that yet. You know what I mean? So I wonder if the Rays not drawing, is it so much that you're in St. Pete, or is it that they also don't end up committing to people long-term? They do a phenomenal job of scouting, developing young players, but then they eventually move on. It's not like they end up signing people and keeping a large payroll or anything so they can be, incredibly, because they're already competitive. But imagine if they could keep their people. Then all of a sudden you're going to become pretty damn special. So I just wonder, for anybody that lives there too, like, explain that to me. What is it about it? Because they do win. Now, there isn't the ultimate commitment. They're kind of overcoming a lot, but still it's odd. Really is. Mountain Man says, seem like McDaniel, every time he plays the Bills, he goes from McDaniel the genius to McDaniel the clown. Well, it was clownish what happened on Sunday. I will say that. Bandwagons are the fans that only like the Lakers because of LeBron. Exactly. And the Heat, right? We had Heat fans also at the same time. Same exact point. Yes, sir. I think Liam was a major problem, and I pray Connor is back ASAP. I think we all do, my friend. I think we all do. Let's see. I thought, what was the stretch when I watched it? And now I realize it was real and possibly didn't go far enough. 1919, the Black Sox threw the World Series and were thrown out of the league. Yep. Yes, sir. Big O, for Black Friday's game versus the Jets, where's the watch party? I don't know. I don't know yet. We don't have a watch party for Black Friday yet. What else? Who else hopes Eli Apple comes back this week and to play on the outside? I don't know if Eli Apple would have done any better, my brother. I would not want to deal with Eli Apple one-on-one and Diggs. This had everything to do with X. And you know, I've heard some people say, well, maybe they think X is not as good anymore, this, that. Well, let's find out. Let's find out. Big O from upstate New York. Thank you, Chris, listening up there in upstate New York. I appreciate you. We've reached extreme fear. I see. Watch Fangio's defense. Well, we'll see if Fangio can actually get it done this week. We shall see. Good afternoon, Big O. Personally, I think McDaniel needs to realize that sometimes he must stop trying to be cute in his decisions and try to develop his team to have a more tougher mentality. You mean like going for a 2-point conversion when you don't need to? That was a real doozy. And then he's trying to explain some analytics bullshit in the postgame show. And it's like, yo, dude, you're on the road. Take the point. Okay? Don't get cute. This isn't the end of the game where you desperately need it. Mathematically, it didn't make any sense. Minutes later, they had cut the lead to 14. If you would have hit the extra point, you would have been up by, you would have cut it to 13. Which gives you an advantage. But you gave away that point by failing on the 2-point conversion. McDaniel didn't do a lot of smart things in that game, dude. That's the reason why I'm pissed. I'm not pissed that they lost. I'm pissed how they lost. How they lost was unacceptable. How they lost made it feel like Joe Philbin was coaching the team. How they lost, it made it feel like Cam Cameron was in charge. Okay? Like Adam Gase was in charge. Like Tony Sparano was in charge. That's how I felt watching Sunday. I felt the incompetence of the past. And I thought we were past that. I thought we had people in place that actually could make sensible and logical decisions. And McDaniel and Fangio did not even come close to making logical decisions. So that's my problem with it. And that's why those two are on double secret probation now. And they need to start showing me in these big moments that they can do much better and use their heads. Start winning your goddamn challenges. Stop giving up on the run. Stop with the pre-snap penalties. Don't put Kader Kohu out there and leave him out to dry against one of the best receivers in the NFL when you've got a corner who is clearly one of the 5 or 10 best corners in the NFL the last 7 years in this league. So you have one of the elite corners in the NFL and you refuse to use him against one of the elite receivers. You're going to go for a 2-point conversion that you don't need to do? No, dude. I'm sorry. You still don't know how to win a challenge? No. I'm tired of that. You don't. And by the way, McDaniel then stood at the podium in this game and said, we're not the team that makes the same mistakes over. Really? What the fuck did I just witness on Sunday? The pre-snap penalties? You can't win a challenge? Eichenberg can't play? What do you mean you don't repeat the same mistakes over and over again? He kept leaving Kohu out there. You didn't learn after the first time he got burned? Not the second time, not the third, not the fourth? Don't go telling me that we're not a team that makes the same mistakes over. That's why I'm pissed the way I'm pissed. Because you made the same mistakes over and over again. You just apologized this offseason about abandoning the run. You freaking do it in game 1 and now in game 4. Oh, wow. The two most explosive offenses you faced. Let's abandon the run. You know, just come on, dude. No. 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 Get your shit straight, bro. Let's go. You're in your second year. Do better. Anyway. Don't forget, folks, if you want to join our platform and you want to be a sponsor, maybe a sponsor of Matt Verderam's segment, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. You give us a ring, and we will reach out. John Callop, you so negative, or am I being honest? You just can't handle the truth? Is that you're a little sensitive, John? Huh? Is that what it is? You're a little sensitive? Did I say anything that was not true, John? Did I say anything that's not true? Forget negative. Forget negative, John. Try to put a pair of balls on right now, John, on the chat board. Did I say anything that's inaccurate, John? Please tell me. Let me see. On the chat board, did I say anything inaccurate? Just want to know. Is it negative, or is it a fact that he abandoned the running game? Is it negative, or did they leave Kohu out to dry? Is it negative, or he can't win a challenge? Is it negative, or did they continue to have pre-snap penalties? Is it negative, or did he get schooled on Sunday? I'm trying to figure this out. Is it negative, or is it facts? You can't handle facts, John? You're a little emotional? You're a little sensitive? Pobrecito. Oh, give him a little warm milk and, send them to bed. I'm waiting for John's answer. What happened, John? You can't answer, right? Because you're ashamed to answer. Yeah, you're accurate. I just can't handle the truth. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm the one guy. That's all you can say, huh? I'm the one guy crying right now. You're a fucking pussy, bro. Seriously, you're such a pussy. You have no balls whatsoever, bro. What, do you got the clap? Is that the problem? Soft ass, dude. I'm talking about killing them for the past, John. I'm talking about the present here. I saw it on Sunday. I'm not talking about Dave Wanstead. That's what I was talking about. That's the past. I'm talking about the current people right now in place. So that's what I'm pissed at. Incredibly pissed. But I get it, my brother. You still can't admit it. I had a friend of mine yesterday that I cornered his ass yesterday on some politics, and he just couldn't admit it. It's amazing to me how some of you, what the truth is, but you just can't admit it. What is it, man? What, are you afraid or something of like saying the truth? Come on, John. You're just soft, bro. I'm not saying anything that's inaccurate at all. Okay? I'm saying what needs to end. And McDaniel, what happened on Sunday cannot keep happening again. Can't. And especially the penalties and the challenges. You know, there are things that he has under his control, running the ball. These are things I can't pick on Fangio if the safety gets runned over by a tight end and then takes a terrible angle on the running back. Okay, I'm not going to blame Javon Holland's 2 bad plays on Vic Fangio. Can't do that. But I can blame him for leaving Kohu out there. He could have changed that. So I'm not pointing out things that are unfair to the coaches. I am pointing to things that are fair and they had control. Just some of you are soft like John and you can't admit it. Big O, McDaniel's scheme was unstoppable last year until teams found a counter. He hasn't proven that he can adapt to teams figuring them out. Until he does that, the Dolphins will remain frauds. Well, he didn't adjust this week, and neither did Fangio. So, and by the way, the same players, right? The same players pretty much on defense for Josh Boyer. Why are they so bad against the run when they were pretty good against the run last year? Just wondering. How can that be? Is it just a Landon Roberts? I know he's a thumper. I know he's a 2-down linebacker. He can't cover. You know, that was the ugly thing when you saw Landon Roberts out in the open field. You know what I mean? He can stop the run, but is it just a Landon Roberts or only reason? I just can't believe that. It's not like Wilkins is tearing it up. Big O, just curious, what are the headphones needed for the show? Oh, well, dude, what's wrong with you? You need some Sonys, bro. There you go. And they got to be like this, in this kind of shape, all used, and you see how the pieces are coming off. See, that's yeah. Oh, man. John is soft as Charmin. Yeah. John Whipple. It's John Whipple in the house. And he's got the clap. It's not a good thing. Chad, I watched the whole film. They were trying to run. Mostert did not play well. As for A-Chain, they did give him the ball, but he only had 2 breakout runs. That's why I keep saying his rushing. They got to run the ball more. They got to dedicate the run from the beginning so the team can get in a groove. You can't just abandon it and then all of a sudden, you just try to start and you think you're going to, get it going. Clap on, clap off. The clapper. I like it. What's my favorite non-Dolphin player? Walter Payton. Walter Payton actually is my favorite football player of all time. Dan Marino's my favorite Dolphin of all time. Okay? But I am a huge Walter Payton fan. Yeah. Since I was a kid. Was it 76, something like that, when they drafted him out of Jackson State? Walter Payton, that was just one of those dudes, that I just admired the shit out of him. Even though I was a Dolphins fan, Walter was my guy, bro. I could always watch that guy and play, and the way he carried himself and how he put a helmet right in your center of your chest like a ram, like a battering ram. Walter Payton was that's my dude, bro. That's my dude. That's a guy that I just, like the ultimate. And you know what? In 85, what Ditka did to him, giving Fridge the touchdown, that was just so bad, dude, on every level. That was gross, and then the man didn't really get to live a full life and all that. And so, because he busted his ass for that team for years and years with bad teams. And then eventually towards the twilight of his career, he finally had a championship caliber team. And then the head coach doesn't give him the respect of giving him the touchdown that he deserved. He had earned that moment, to score in a Super Bowl. And that is something I will always feel. And I know that Ditka I know Ditka it bothers him after the fact. He realizes that he screwed up. But it's too late, and it's a shame. Big O, I'm sick of this team being frauds for 30 years, Paul in Connecticut. And that's what Saturday and that's what Sunday, reminded us of. And we just can't have that anymore. We can't have that. And McDaniel has to do a better job in those moments. I know he will, but I'm just not going to give them a pass. I'm not going to say, oh, it's a mistake. They'll be fine. I'm not doing that. When I saw the pre-snap penalties and all that other stuff that he did that I've mentioned over and over again, I was like, no, dude, no. And then he had the balls in the post-game show to say, well, no, we're not a team that makes the same mistakes over. And I'm going, what did you just do for 4 quarters? And that part kind of like, it's kind of that, I talked about it yesterday, that child psychology bullshit. Well, if we were 4-0, we'd still have to play next week and try to improve this, that. No, bullshit, dude. You lost the most important game of the season up until this point. The first 3 games were just tune-ups. This was the game that measures whether you're ready to take over the division or not. And you showed you weren't even close. This wasn't just a loss. This isn't just 3-1. That's a lie. That's why people, oh, well, if we win the next 2, we're 5-1. That doesn't mean anything if you lose to the Eagles. You got to start winning those kind of games. The Dolphins, for years, more often than not, beats the crappy teams and loses to the really good teams. That's been their norm. That's why they're the epitome of the 7-9 win team. Once in a while, they win 10 and sneak into the playoffs to get embarrassed. But this is who they've been. That team right in the middle of it. And McDaniel coached like a team that's right in the middle of it. I need him to do better. Much better. Better question is, who's the greatest football player you ever saw? Oh, Lawrence Taylor could be one. I saw Lawrence Taylor. Yeah, or Walter Payton. Either one. Or Mark Clayton. Nobody ever talks about Mark Clayton being the athlete he was. But Mark Clayton was a freak of all freaks, dude. But I can go with I don't mind with Lawrence Taylor. That's a good one. And I would then, add Walter Payton there as my 1B, That makes sense. I didn't see Jim Brown, so I can't, I've seen the film, but it's not the same when you live it, Big O, those headphones, will use those for a Paca Ibiza set of 8 hours. LOL. That's where the Edge energy drink comes in hand. Yes, sir. It was an embarrassing ass kicking. You are correct, Mountain Man. Chris Daughtry says, I need to see a close game against the Chiefs to start believing again. We don't have to win, but Panthers and Giants aren't threats. Philly isn't the huge pass threat. KC's a pivotal game. Philly is still a threat, dude, because they can punch you in the mouth and run the hell out of the ball. Have you seen Miami stop the ball and running? Last year they did it, not this year. So I would worry about Philly only I'm with you that they're not the biggest pass threat. I'm not arguing that. But they can push you around with that line, and I haven't seen Miami really, shut down the run the way they're supposed to. Lenny says, I think it's fair to say that the coaching staff on both sides were out-coached on Sunday. McDermott and Dorsey had perfect game plans in place, and the Finns coaching staff never adjusted. Yep. That's it. In regard to Boyer being better at stopping the run, didn't have more people in the box because of the zero blitz. Listen, all I know is, Carlos, that the twisted and screwed up part, okay? Josh Boyer has done a better job in the first 4 games than Fangio did. That's all I know. All I know is Buffalo never blew out Miami last year in 3 games under Boyer. 3 games. Not one time under Boyer did they ever get blown out. Not by the Bills, by nobody. No one. That's all I know. And that to me is scary as shit. Got to do better, man. Got to do better. That's all I can tell you. Got to do better. 1-800-ALARM-ME. That is Alarmo right there. And when we talk about Sloman's Home Shield, they've been protecting Americans for over 100 years now. I've got a Sloman's Home Shield at home. Sean does too, protecting our homes, folks. You can do it too. How about if we tell you that if you call 1-800-ALARM-ME, we can give you a free doorbell camera, which is your ultimate best friend. Because when you're watching something important and the doorbell rings, you're like, damn, I got to get up to answer this now. You can actually look at your camera, your phone, and look at the camera and see who's at the door. Oh, it's somebody trying to sell something. Let them ring the doorbell. That's it. It's beautiful. Oh, you're driving home. You ordered some food. You wanted to get there before, right when you get there. Oh, the guy arrived before you did with the food, ringing the doorbell. You talk to him through your phone. Hey, do me a favor. Leave the food there. I'll be there in a minute. Thank you. You get there. Your food's there. You walk in. Boom. I mean, the doorbell camera is as convenient as it gets. And folks, when you call 1-800-ALARM-ME, we'll give you the professional installation with our low-cost central station monitoring. When you get that, we'll give you an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. All you got to do is call 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME, and tell them that Big O sent you so you can get your free doorbell camera at Sloman's Home Shield. Boyer's defense was better than Olivadotti. Oh, God. I hope everybody's better than Olivadotti. Big O, back when Omar said Tua was a weird dude, I felt it was about Tua's approaches, his religion, football, kind of the wrong time and place. Looked and sounded awkward to me. It was... Omar's a great dude. That was just a terrible description of Tua. That's all. Horrible description. Why is Tua a weirdo? Because he's normal? Because he's a faith guy? Because he's a family guy? Because he's a really team guy? Because he's wholesome? Because he's not a bad dude? Because he's not going to get arrested? Because he's not going to be at the clubs? Because he's not going to be hoe chasing? I'm sorry. Why is he a weird dude? I don't get it. Is he weird like Ricky Williams wearing a helmet? Is he weird like running back named Enos for the Bears? I forgot his first name. But he showed up to practice in a fur coat, wearing his uniform. Is it weird like Lawrence Taylor showing up to practice in handcuffs? I'm trying to figure out what is weird. And so that's what it was. It was a horrible description by Omar. Because there's nothing weird about Tua. I'm a hell of a lot more weird than Tua ever will be. Most of you are probably a hell of a lot more weird than Tua is. What Tua is very normal. Something I'm not. I bet he's a hell of a lot more normal than Omar Kelly is. How do you like them apples? I bet you Omar is a hell of a lot more of a weirdo than Tua ever will be. Okay? So it was a terrible choice of words. But it happens, like I said, I've talked about this before. We have a problem with the perfect human being. We have a problem with the Tim Tebows. The people that are truly, strong in their beliefs to their religion, strong in their beliefs of family, and dedicated to their teams. They are loyal all the way to their teammates, their family, I get it. The rest of us, we have defects. We're not normal. We're the weirdos. The problem with Omar was that maybe he can't understand that he's the weirdo and that Tua is the normal guy. And that Tua is the kind of guy that sets an example for all of us on how we should carry ourselves. Because he handles like Cal Ripken did, like Tony Gwynn did. They're just those dudes that know how to handle everything. And we have a problem with those dudes that know how to handle everything. We call them weirdos, and they're oddballs or something, when really they're the normal ones. We're the abnormal ones. We're the ones that actually don't do things the right way. So Omar probably should have looked in the mirror before he called Tua a weirdo, because the weirdo was probably staring him in the face like the rest of us. So just a poor choice of words for an individual that carries himself in an impeccable fashion, and somebody that we all should admire, because if we ever felt the scrutiny of Tebow and Tua, I don't know, it would drive a lot of us crazy. Most of us would not be able to handle that. And the way those guys do it, man, that's impressive. I got to say. Under Boyer, we allowed 38 points to the Ravens and 40 to the Jets, 27 to the Lions, 33 to the Niners, 32 to the Bills. Were any of those losses by 28? Was the Ravens a loss? Was the Lions a loss? Did the Niners beat them by 28 points? And they beat them pretty bad. I don't know. You tell me. And was it as much the defense? Was the offense dominated on in those? Any of those 28-point loss there, Frankie? Just want to know. Was any of those a 28-point loss? Thanks for the super chat, but were any of those 28-point losses? Just want to know. So the Ravens, I know they won the game. Like I said, it was a bad first half, and then they came back. At no point were they blown out like that. And if anything, it might have been their offense that might have given up some of those points too on turnovers. I get what Omar was trying to say. Tua's kind of clunky in social interactions. Now he's made huge steps forward. Got help from Tyreek. Again, clunky doesn't make you weird. Tim Tebow's not weird. He's just, he's just a normal kind of a goofy guy, that he's just kind of ho-hum about everything, but he's not a weirdo. We have a problem with people that are way better than us. That's how it is in this society, dude. We have a tendency of killing the bad people, and then we have this weird thing, dude. We get some of the best human beings in the world, and we do things to them. I never understood the Tebow stuff. We could talk about football, which is what I always would talk with him about him. He can't play at the NFL level. That I would say, you know what I mean? But as a human being, he's amazing. He's something I could never be. And I think people have a hard time saying what I just said. I think people have a hard time understanding that dude's better than you. You know? Because it's hard to say that, but those are the facts. And Tua's way better than most of us. Because most of us could never handle things the way he handles them. Most of us would have lost our crap. We would have gone after people, whatever, man. You know? That's where I just think people kind of lose touch. And that's why, and it's the weird thing, man. And we get good people and we put them, through the ringer. Let's do this right now. Let's do a little music and some birthdays. Why don't we do that? Let's start off with the birthdays today on October 4th. Dakota Johnson, movie actress, celebrating her birthday. Alicia Silverstone, Dakota, by the way, is 34. Alicia Silverstone is 47. Derrick Rose, basketball player, is 35. Rich Homie Quan, rapper, is 34. I don't know if she's known or anything. Some rapper named Little Mama. I don't know who she is. She's 34. I mentioned it for the hell of it because I have no idea who she is. Might be some small rapper or something because there's a lot of those kind of rappers around. Susan Sarandon is 77 years old. And I think that's it. Oh, Mike Williams, football player, receiver for the Chargers. He is 29 years old. Russell Simmons, he is 66 years old. That dude pays a lot of child support. Let's see what else. And Liv Schreiber, the movie actor, is 56 years old. Those are your birthdays today. Let's go over music history. In 1970, on this date, Janis Joplin was discovered dead in her Hollywood landmark hotel from an apparent overdose of heroin and alcohol. How old was Janis Joplin when she died? Sean Stanley. That's right, 27 years old. In 1969, Creedence Clearwater Revival started a 4-week run at the top of the album charts with their first #1 record, Green River. In 1996, Van Halen announced that former Extreme singer Gary Cherone would replace Sammy Hagar as the band's new frontman. In 2005, Flyleaf released their self-titled album. And in 2013, Nothing Left to Fear, the motion picture / co-produce, hit select theaters. Also that day, the guitarist released the soundtrack to the film, which he scored. It also included 2 original songs as well. He is good, dude. By the way, Foo Fighters are starting a stadium tour. It starts off July 17th next year at New York City Field on the 17th and the 19th. Boston, the 21st at Fenway Park. For you San Diego folks, August 7th at Petco. July 28th, Target Field in Minneapolis. August 18th, Seattle at T-Mobile. August 16th, Portland. And August 9th and 11th at Los Angeles at BMO Stadium. Those are some of the places that they are going to if you're a Foo Fighters fan. I was reading where Stevie Nicks was talking about how there will be no more Fleetwood Mac. She says after Christine McVie, there is really no reason to go on, which kind of makes sense. And by the way, you kind of get to a point when you start losing band members that it just, there's too many of these bands out there that there's not enough original in it. You know what I'm saying? Imagine Dragons, by the way, October 7th. So in 3 days on Saturday night, they will be doing a live stream at 12:45 a.m. So if you are an Imagine Dragons fan, if you happen to be up Saturday night, If you've never seen them in concert, I have seen them 3 times in concert, and they are exceptional in concert. Just so you'll know. Okay? What else? I'm not saying he should get a pass, Big O, making it seem like Boyer was better than Fangio. It's the same crappy defense. No. No. Were any of those losses by 28 points? No. You're not, no. That's what I need to know. No. You're not getting away with that. Okay? Like I said, not one game last year was the defense. You didn't lose a game because the defense got blown out and you couldn't catch up. Okay? Offense got down. In that San Francisco game, it was the offense that got thoroughly dominated in that game. San Fran is just better anyway. You know, they're just a monster team all the way around, period. But, you know what I'm saying? Anyway. Oh, let's see what we got here. Okay. All right, cool. All right. Frankie Boyer has done a way better job. Now, said yesterday, I think Boyer had the privilege of having some scheme Flores, no learning curve. He was running the defense, dude. I don't want to hear anything about flow or any of that bullshit. He was running that defense, and he still did a much better job than Fangio has done. Fangio will fix this, okay? I believe I haven't lost faith in Fangio or Mike McDaniel or anything like that. I'm just not going to give him a pass. That's all. Some of you may have a problem with that. I haven't given up on the team. I didn't turn in my Airbnb in my car or anything like that. I haven't given up on the season or anything like that. I'm just not giving them a pass. What happened on Sunday was unacceptable. You don't get a pass. You guys want to do it? You go ahead and do it. You want to play the bullshit game like, oh, it's just one game and they'll get over and this is not. I saw a lot of the same shit in the Chargers game. And they got lucky and won that game at the end, that they finally made a play at the end. But I'm not doing that anymore. I'll give you a certain amount of time. And then when I start seeing shit that I don't like, and you start doing the same things, the same mistakes over and over again, I don't have patience for that. And don't freaking tell me in the press conference after that we're not a team that makes the same mistakes over, when you're a coach that makes the same mistakes over again. So a lot of the shit that happened last year continues to happen this year. You told us you were going to commit more to the run, and you failed to do that. And you did it against a team that you don't want their offense on the field. Yet you put the Buffalo Bills out on the field over and over and over again. So no, you don't get any breaks, dude. You don't get any breaks anymore. You got your first year under your belt. You got the pass. You got it all. Let's go. You've got a good enough team. A way better team than the one you had last year. Do better. We thank Matt Verderam. We thank Sean Stanley as always. We appreciate all of you that tuned in. If you send in a super chat, if you reached out on Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show, thank you. Don't forget to watch the platform as much as possible. Even if you got to walk away, let it play. That's how you can also help out. And, of course, visit our fantastic sponsors like Sloman's Home Shield, 1-800-ALARM-ME. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. live from Hialeah Park.